This is the way we should start
Every
game.
Doctor Who session should start with a pint of Guinness.
I think most of them do.
Indeed.
Yeah, we're a
Happy
daytime
Paddy's
show.
Day,
that goes
everyone.
over.
Happy Paddy's Day. So I'm going to raise my glass to all our audience who tune in every Friday to see us get whimsical and stupid and playful. Thank you for joining us. And to my players, Happy Paddy's Day.
Happy Paddy's Day!
Yes. Also, thank you, Sam, for bringing jelly babies.
I just had my first jelly baby and I'm
Just
so
had
happy.
the first jelly baby. I'm going to have
You
some of these
really
now.
are the doctor.
Yes.
Yeah, so today is going to be kind of a wonky, wacky little day here at Eric's TBD RPG. Thank you for tuning in. Coming off of the insanity that was last week for the show and for me personally, who is fighting the bubonic plague.
We're so
And
glad
mastered
you're
it like
feeling
a
good.
champion.
Yes.
There you go. Yes, I have my voice back, thank God. I have to say that was not fun, running a temperature and hacking my guts out on the
Kids
live
at home,
stream.
when
But
you're sick, maybe don't work harder.
wow, but it's Doctor Who, you know, it's a game. And it was the 2-year anniversary live stream.
That's okay. Yeah.
So, I mean, I spent, it was weird because for the longest time, like so many folks, I was part of that crew that was watching the live stream. I never thought one day I'd be on the live stream. So there's no way I was going to miss that.
Dreams
No
do
way I was
come
going to miss
true.
that. Yeah. So, okay. So welcome back, everybody. Yes, indeed. Here in the United States right now, it is Paddy's Day. To all my native Irish kinsmen and women out there, I apologize for today. Most native Irish people in the United States kind of hide on. It's like Halloween on Buffy. All the supernatural creatures actually like to stay indoors because they find it kind of tacky. Not everybody.
Like an apple.
Not everybody, but most you know, Irish are like they will stay the hell away from Irish bars unless they're looking to get a little kissy because it's easy to get that on Paddy's Day.
Good to know.
But to all my Irish American friends out there, happy St. Patrick's Day, and to everybody else outside the United States who doesn't understand what the hell we're doing here. That's what this is all about. And we don't have any regulations that stop us from drinking Guinness on air, right?
No.
Guinness, please sponsor us.
Excellent. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into any recaps or anything anybody want to announce before we start getting into the game.
Oh,
I've got an announcement, but
our WonderCon panel schedule went up.
oh, it went up. So yes, so me, Amy, and Jody, we're going to be on a panel at WonderCon. I like to call it, what are the panels, the titles? There's the GNS Live panel that Amy and I know are doing. And Jody, I don't know if you're on that one, but I know you're
I'm
on
the Space RPG.
the Space RPG panel.
Which has
It's sort of a
cooler
combo of-
title than that.
It's
Yeah.
the Vast, members of Vast, and some members of this show, and we're just going to talk about space and
RPGs. And also, I can tell you guys now that we are going to announce, and don't get sad, but we are going to announce what the next game will be on Eric's TBD RPG at the panel.
That's so cool.
Yeah, we're going to be announcing it. But don't worry, Doctor Who still has a good chunky, good mess of game sessions to go because we're not near the end of the story yet. So the
Guys,
Doctor...
we're
not
stretching
figure
this
it
out
out
Doctor still has-
forever.
But looking ahead to the next great game that we're going to play, that could be a very long story arc. We have a big announcement that we're gonna throw open at WonderCon, which is in like a week and a half, I think now, right?
April 1st is our panel.
April 1st is
however
our
far
panel.
away
The
that is.
weekend.
I really think they should have called our panel, "Why the hell did we schedule this during the Critical Role panel?"
Oh,
It's
true.
before it, isn't
I
it?
think it's just as.
No, theirs is at 2.
maybe-
They're
I
all
think-
back to back, though.
Isn't the GNS panel live during
It's
the
like
Critical Role
us,
panel?
immediately after us, a few rooms down is GNS Live, and immediately after that is Critical Role
Crit
in the
Role
arena.
panel?
I don't
No.
even know where that is.
So guys, you're at 11:30 a.m. with
We're at 11:30 a.m.
Vastcast,
with the
Eric's
Vastcast
TBD,
and Eric's TBD,
and then the other one is at 1 p.m.
and the other one's at 1 p.m. Thank you,
And then I
Denise.
think 2 o'clock is Critical Role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you!
Yes, indeed. Yes, thank you, everybody.
WonderCon's a convention that's happening in Anaheim this year, and it is a lovely convention. If you are anywhere near here and can make it, it is a great time.
Yes.
Yes,
come say hi.
Yes.
WonderCon is awesome. WonderCon is Diet Comic Con. It's like it's the Diet Coke of Comic Con.
Hey, some of us drink Diet Coke, so.
I happen to love WonderCon.
and in the same spirit.
WonderCon is
WonderCon is
Comic Con, but it's not the insanity of Comic Con.
You can actually get tickets.
Yeah.
I can't deal with Comic-Con anymore. The crowds are too intense. The wait is too long to get into
Line
anything
con?
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I like to call it, you thought you were getting the Magic Exclusives con?
It did make me laugh at Emerald City where I got to a panel 40 minutes early going, God, I hope I can get in. And like I had fantastic seats.
Just walk
but
right
I'm
in.
just too used to the idea that like if it's not 3 hours ahead of time, to give
Oh,
up now.
that's
Yeah.
Or the day
adorable.
before.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I always get a seat because I bring my own.
Real quick, if we don't have any more announcements, I'm going to give a birthday shout out. He's expecting, he's waiting for it. So Josh, also known as @Potterboy on Twitter, friend of the show. Happy birthday, Josh. Here's a raise of the glass to you, and thank you for watching and being such a great happy birthday, and good luck because Josh went out and bought the Doctor Who books based off of watching our show and wants to run the game. So
Tell us all about it.
Yeah. Tell us about the adventures. Remember, this game is pretty light because you can just pretty much indulge whatever whimsy you want, and the rules kind of let you go nuts, as you have seen. So,
One more announcement, maybe?
One
is
more
that
announcement?
We are missing
Yeah.
our wonderful Gina right now,
Yes.
but you don't have to be missing her because you can go to Instagram and follow her adventures in Japan, which are probably going to be incredibly delightful.
yes, Gina got to go to Japan.
It's
And there should
Kitty
be a
Hawk.
film. Gina goes to Japan.
I want her to have so much fun in Japan that I don't have to feel sad that she's not here.
Aw.
But Gina, we love you.
Miss you.
Yes.
I miss you.
I'm pretty sure she said she's going to the Studio Ghibli Museum.
So she's probably not
So
coming
then we
back. She's
don't-
So
still
if you're
don't
moving.
miss
so
her.
Yeah.
if you're a
She
fan
lives
of
there
that,
now.
that's another reason to check out what she's doing.
Yes, your Hobbit wife. As in, I loved your Hobbit married couple. It was so good.
Yeah, it was great.
All right, then I think the last thing I was going to say before we jump into the game is just that we are going to, don't worry, we are going to have the return of Matt Mercer and Darren DePaul. They will be returning to the show. They originally were planned only to do one more guest appearance, but Darren wants to get back here as often as he can, and Matt wants to come back and finish his arc with Meat Stick. So that'll be fun to have them back on. It was a lot of fun
Yeah.
having those two on the show. So stay tuned. We'll be having those guys on. Okay, I think we're ready to jump into
We just want to
our
put
game.
off dealing with the fact that everyone got eaten by a whale.
Yes, that's the recap. We'll start with that. So the recap essentially was, and during a desperate attempt to escape from the asteroid, as apparently this giant space god was heading towards you, you discovered that it was in fact a space whale. It wasn't just the space whale; it was the space whale. Doctor, you've seen space whales before. They're an ancient species. Slowly have been going extinct over the course of thousands and thousands of years. You've never seen or heard of one this large. This was the size of a planet. I compared it to the size of Earth. It was so massive that the curvature was difficult to make out as it was approaching the asteroid. It blocked out the sky. Its shadow completely blocked out the nebula and the star that was just inside of it, which was admittedly about a light year away. It's still the massive jaws of this whale opened up. Gina made a very valiant attempt to get the ship off the ground against an incredibly high difficulty number, and to her credit, she got close. I was shocked and a little not expecting that, but she actually failed by a margin big enough that you guys got sucked into the jaws of this massive space whale. That's right, Duncan, you weren't here, so you're getting the recap here, yeah.
Yeah.
So Duncan, so you know, they were able to close the breach, the tear in space-time. They had a little bit of a run-in with some of the Aboriginal people who lived on this. I would say the natives that lived here in on the asteroid belt. They were obviously highly intelligent and a very evolved species, but they had a misunderstanding of what the nature of the breach was and tried to defend it. Crazy shit happened involving
Adric's
a
fault.
granade and a
It
guy who
was
tried to kill
Adric's
himself.
fault. It wasn't even a little bit anyone else's fault. That was going well,
Like 150% is
and
fault.
Adric is terrible.
Adric through, yes.
Adric, if you're out there, we don't like you.
Yeah,
You
well,
know,
no.
he's
Enjoy the
super
void
dead.
of space.
He's so dead.
Adric was doing just fine until he popped into a million pieces after the grenade detonated. But Meat Stick sort of saved the day there.
Meat stick.
Meat Stick, yes. By the way, you
Who has
did.
to pick out a new name, dang it.
There was an Ood
wants.
who had joined the party. His name was Meat Stick. He was a very large, You remember Meat Stick, right? You were
Yeah,
here for that part.
I was in the first.
The first part.
half,
Yeah. So
and
you remember Meat Stick.
I watched it, I watched the live stream of the show.
Duncan was
as,
in chat apparently.
Yes.
as much as I could while I was at work.
While you were at
So
work.
I missed a lot, but I
Okay, so you got the basic idea.
The general gist of it. Yeah. But some of this has been new to me. So.
Yeah. Well, the last bit is you guys were trying to escape on the TARDIS, but you didn't get to it in time because the TARDIS came, snatched up the Doctor, and then disappeared. Snatched up the Doctor and Jodie, and then vanished. And
I'm not happy about this. I do not
No,
understand.
there's-
I'm not happy
there
about
was some
this.
irritation. The chat, you guys were divided 50-50. Everyone was like, son of a bitch! And then the other half was like, oh my god, yay! Which is typical to the polarizing figure. Essentially, the big reveal was the TARDIS swooped in, saved Jodie, saved Amy, and as the Doctor and Lisa, the Time Lord, were whisked away, it was discovered that the person at the controls that had done this was none other than River Song. Swooped in, snatched up the
Yes.
two, and zipped off, leaving you guys
To die.
to die, or whatever is going to become of you. So the mad dash to the, that is the second time I've dropped that die.
It's
The
making
mad
me beg
dash
for it.
to the spaceship, and then you guys took off, and that brings us up to speed. I'm going to grab this die, and then I'm going to stop playing with them, because I keep dropping them. Yes, let's start the show off. All right. Now, let us begin today's episode. So this is where we're going to start. Now, this is going to be an interesting game because the party is divided.
Yeah.
So we have Lisa the
split the
Time
party, and
Lord
that didn't
and,
end well.
Amy the
Never
Doctor.
does.
Doctor and Lisa are in the TARDIS right now, and Cillian and Rocco have no idea where the hell they are right now. So we're going to start with them. We're going to open up here with the flickering of lights, fluorescent lights, fighting to stay alive. Their whole purpose in life is to burn, and they are sputtering and choking as your eyes come into focus. There's a throbbing pain in the top of your head, Rocco. When you guys got sucked into the mouth of that whale and everything started going black, you just remember the concussive smashing on the side of the ship as you all tumbled into essentially what could be described as a black hole. Awakening now, feeling your body, you're aware that you were probably tossed about inside of this metal ship. The lights around here, you're also seeing something swinging back and forth, and as your eyes are coming to focus, you're becoming vaguely aware that there are wires all hanging down from the ceiling, sparking, as the power systems in this ship are clearly in a state of flux, probably death, as the lights are just blinking on and off. You can hear the controls. There's no alarm blaring like there was when you first initially got sucked into the hole. You do see Cillian maybe a few feet away from you, and you're becoming aware now that the cold steel that you're laying against is actually slightly, it's at an angle. Like, you're beginning to realize that the ship, you think maybe you guys have landed because you're slid up against a corner, maybe underneath a computer console. There's an overturned chair, which these things are bolted into the floor. This thing has been torn from the steel of the floor and is kind of thrown about. With the lights flickering on and off, and watching across the way, you're watching Cillian sort of get up himself. You're becoming aware that the inside of this cockpit has been completely demolished. And the air is a little thin. And you're hearing all these hissing sounds of gases and atmosphere. It almost sounds like someone is walking around with a fire extinguisher and just blasting it at random intervals.
I look for Finn.
As you get up, you sitting up, you kind of have to brace yourself against the side of the computer because, again, the ship is slanted. And you pause for a second. It is total darkness. It looks like you're in a void. Outside of where the ship is, like the lights are blinking in this cockpit, you're only aware that outside the window is complete black. No stars, no light, nothing. And you are still hearing that low rumble sound that you heard before, except for now it doesn't feel like it's, now it reverberates. But it's also at a frequency so low that your ears aren't actually picking it up. It's more like they're picking it up, but it's like that subtle You have to listen for it, but the frequency is so low that it's just rattling your bones. And looking around, the only person you see right now is Zeeps, who's completely unconscious and laying sort of ass in the air, like up against one of the back walls. Looks like he was thrown effortlessly, just like against one of the walls. And you see Cillian looking towards the front where the cockpit window is. It takes you a minute to realize that no one in the cockpit is there. No one who was sitting in the chairs. Nobody. It was Finn, and it was Finn. It was Zeeps who was in the corner freaking out, but there was also Brecker, I think his name is.
Brennick and Ava?
Brennick, yeah.
Brennick, Ava, Drep.
Yeah.
We're all-
None of them are in the cockpit. And that's when you realize the cockpit window has been completely shattered. It looks like the glass has been smashed in, and the hole looks like it's actually been peeled back a little bit. The other thing you're noticing at this point, too, is you're seeing debris all over the floor of the cockpit that doesn't belong here. It looks like rock. Could be from the asteroid. You see some dirt tossed about. But aside from that, apparently there's a full breach of the hull right in front of you guys.
All right. I go to Cillian and check on him.
Okay, Cillian, you feel hands. It's the only orientation you've got right now as you're starting to come to, but you feel the scaled hands of Rocco touching your arm, and it kind of brings you to, and you two see each other.
Is that you, Rocco?
Yeah, it's me. Are you okay?
I think so.
I mean, none of us is okay. I'd rather think we're in a whale. We're in a ship.
When you
In a
say
whale.
in a whale,
Yes.
in the belly of the whale.
Yes.
Oh God.
Yes. All right. Can you stand up?
Yeah, I think so. I think yes.
All right.
Yeah, your facilities seem to be working okay. Everything, neurologically speaking, like everything, you don't seem like.
It's all there.
Yeah, you don't
all
seem. Everything seems motor reflexes. Everything seems to be okay. You took a knock to the head, so as you get up, there is a little bit of a whoa.
I try to study him.
Yeah.
All right. I see Zeeps. I don't see anyone else. I don't see Finn or Meatstick or Velig or the poachers.
Well, that's worrying, but should we look around the ship? How big is this ship? I don't know what this ship is.
So the way I'm picturing this, I should have done a better job of describing this, but the way
you probably described it last week.
I did. It's sort of, but it was sort of a wreck against the rock face. You didn't get a really good look at it. It looks like this ship could accurately be described as sort of a like really boxy looking with its wings. So picture it like this. It had two very large engines in the back and a cockpit in the front that kind of narrowed to a nose. And in the center was this, it basically looked box shaped going out, but it came to a smaller point towards the end. So it was kind of boxy looking. The wings weren't aerodynamic, but it's a big cargo ship essentially.
Okay.
Right now what you're looking at, this ship looks really kind of beaten. Like an old ragtag, like an old ship. This thing's been in use for a long time. So it's not really shiny, futuristic ship that you were hoping you'd find in your first time in human future. But from what you can see looking around right now is kind of what I described before, is that it looks like this place, the power is fighting to stay on. The atmosphere is really thin, and it looks like the front part of the cockpit, it almost looks like two hands just grabbed it and peeled it open.
Well, shall we?
We have to find them.
we-
Finn! Finn! I'm.
There's no one else in this cockpit, and no one is calling. No one responds.
Let's search the ship, but together.
Yeah.
Let's not split up.
Absolutely. I
you
go
know
over
that-
and I check on Zeeps.
Do you know that? If you've ever been in a thick fog, that bloody air when you call out or shout out,
And
how
it
sound
doesn't- yeah.
sound just feels like it gets swallowed.
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels like it stops in front of your face. It's kind of an eerie sensation. It's like someone's standing there but no one's there. When you call out to Finn, the closer you get to that breach and into the darkness, it's the same effect.
Yeah.
Zeeps, as you move over to Zeeps, he's slowly starting to come to, and he's muttering. He's like, "I think we're gonna make it. I think we're gonna make it."
Okay, dear. All right. You stay down. You lie down there. You come to awareness. Stay there. We're going to see if we can find more people to help, okay?
We'll come back for you, mate.
Right. Yeah. I'll stay here.
Yeah, all right.
All right.
He just slowly puts his head up, or his hands up to his head, which will be easy for me to roleplay today because I'm fighting a sinus infection. So Zeeps just does this. Oh God, where's ibuprofen? Which I can't have because I'm having a Guinness. So
Can't.
you make your choices. You make your
He
sacrifices.
committed to the day. I like it.
Here's what I have to say to that. I'm just
I
gonna,
go over to the hole to the breach.
okay.
Because
There
I
is
sort of
the-
think it might maybe Meatstick or Velik tried to get out. Maybe they woke before us and they're outside or something, and I call out again.
So there is the door to the bridge too, just so you know, if I didn't make that clear. There's a doorway, there's a sliding, like, the metal, like, bulkhead door to the bridge. Kind of like on Serenity, how there was the cockpit and then
sort of
behind
picturing.
everybody there was, like, you go down the stairs and then there was a door.
Yeah.
Going up to the breach, you look out and you guys have definitely landed on a surface. It's not the black oblivion. You are on what looks like a rock face. The light doesn't extend too far because the light from the front running lights of the ship are still activated. They're flickering on and off, so it's giving you this eerie thing. But you do see, like, it is having that eerie effect as if you were in space with a flashlight and you're only seeing the surface, and then beyond that it just gets swallowed by the darkness. But the ship once again seems to have landed at a slant on some kind of rocky surface. Possibly the rock formation almost looks the same sort of porous rock as the asteroid that you guys escaped from.
I make my suppositions about how that happened.
Yeah.
But so I don't see anything out there. And I spend a story point to use clairvoyance to try to scry for Finn.
Okay. Then go ahead and make your roll.
It's a story point. It's not a roll.
Oh, you
for
don't? That's right.
clairvoyance.
I keep forgetting clairvoyance. Just yoink. So wait, but it does matter based on distance.
Yes,
So
10 kilometers.
10 kilometers. All right, in 10 miles. All right, so 10 kilometers, I'm so American. You mean 10 miles?
We were gonna let
What's
it.
this kilometer
10
communist
miles works,
stuff?
10 miles is
It's a lot bigger.
Yeah, kilometers works. All right, so right now people at Cubicle 7 are like, miles. Friggin',
we use freedom
friggin'
units
American.
here.
Put that Guinness down.
Freedom units.
Freedom units. Okay. So go ahead and get that story point back real quick. So you lean back, and the irony is with the slant of the ship, you're actually able to sit back in one of the cockpit chairs, and it's quite comfy. So you lean back, and it immediately swivels to its heavy, and so you're facing up towards the breach. You take a second and close your eyes, and Cillian, you recognize what Roko's doing. They're going into their clairvoyant state. So you spent a story point. It's 10 kilometers. Okay, so reaching out, it feels like as your consciousness begins to step away from your body, and you begin to that third eye kind of opens, and you begin to become aware and step away. You see the ship below. It looks like it's not the asteroid. It looks like you've crashed on, if you didn't know any better, considering the size, it looks like you've crashed on the side of a small mountain range. But this mountain range, from what you can tell, it kind of goes up at a slight incline, but the lights from the ship aren't giving you a full display of the landscape. So all you're seeing is that the ship, by the way, has been split in half. It looks like past the cockpit, maybe about 60 meters down, it looks like it's been sheared. There is no engineering compartment anymore. There's no weapons or anything else. It looks like it's literally just been sliced in half. And it's not a clean cut either. It looks like it probably smashed into something and the ship was ripped. As you pull out, you're trying to focus on that familiar feeling, that feeling of home that Finn brings you, and you're not sensing anything. There's no, as your focus begins to shift a little bit to Meatstick, to anybody, and the only people you are feeling that familiarity that you can lock onto is that sort of echo of Zeeps, because you've only just gotten to know Zeeps, but Cillian is the only other person you are sensing in a 10-kilometer radius. And as you're kind of glancing out, you see something that's a little disorienting at first, but you think you see lights off in the distance. And considering the way they're clustered together and the variations and whatnot, not to mention that they're casting a little bit of a silhouette, if you didn't know any better, if you weren't inside of a whale, if you could just spot something off in the distance and take a guess, you would think you were looking at a city.
She's not there. I can't find her. Finn is gone, Meatstick's gone, Felix. I can't find any of them. What are we?
It's just me, you, and
Zeeps.
and Zeeps.
I didn't see much of the ship left. The engine compartments are gone. This thing is torn in half. I saw some lights farther away. I don't know what on earth they mean.
Do you think it could be the other half of the ship?
Did I see the second half of the ship?
Not anywhere. Not zooming out. No, not really. In a 10-kilometer radius, it's hard to focus on that. I will tell you also that using your clairvoyance inside this creature, it felt a little muddy. It felt if you had the best way I can think of describing it is if you were trudging through a forest that you've never been to before and you've been pumped up on sedatives. You're kind of sluggish and like moving from tree to tree kind of thing. Moving through this space inside this creature felt resistant, like you were stepping through something thick and you couldn't actually move or get the vision that you needed.
It could be the second half of the ship. It isn't anywhere near this half. But what are we going to do? What are we going to do?
Well, it's all we have, Roko. We'd better go to those lights, whatever they are.
All right.
If we stay here, I mean, there's nothing here. We'd better. I'll go and get Zeeps. We'd better get moving. I don't think we should stay here.
No, I agree. We should look through the half of the ship that we have, see if there's any supplies, this atmosphere. Maybe there are evac suits or something that we could get.
Something.
You check on Zeeps.
Okay.
I'll go look for the supplies. I want to go past the immediate cockpit and very gingerly see if there's a flashlight in the cockpit. Actually, I'd like to try to pick that up. But other than that, I want to look for supplies in the rest of the 60 meters of the ship.
I think that would be a standard thing, but let's just determine how long this is going to take you. So go ahead and make your an awareness, well, I'm going to say awareness ingenuity.
All right.
And tell me what you get.
Let's see, 16.
16, yeah, you find a working flashlight.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
You kind of pull down this panel and you see not only with a 16 because the difficulty was 12. So as you pull down this panel, you not only see a flashlight but a first aid kit, and it looks like a tracking, like a monitoring device, almost like a sensor scanner. So you can like see your immediate areas. And also it looks like it can scan for life forms. It looks like your standard issue kind of like exploration sort of scanner. Tricorder.
Query, do you still have my scanner on you?
Did you ever give that back? I don't remember.
He certainly never gave it back. It's just a question of whether you left it on the TARDIS. So
I believe, because the last time I saw it was that you had it out in the alley when you guys encountered the TGs, but I don't think you actually ever gave it back or to anybody else.
Inside the TARDIS, I ran in the door. I said, "Oh, I haven't seen that in 11 years," and that is the last we've heard from it. So it might still be in your possession.
You know what? All those episodes where I could have really used that, I had completely forgotten.
So remember to write down your items, ladies and gentlemen, whatever RPG you're playing.
Wow.
All right.
You're like
no,
my
wait.
scanner?
Didn't we get that stuff taken off of us
Under
when
the
we
weapons.
went to
Unit?
Unit, yeah, Unit.
It's possible, but you know what we can do to resolve this since we don't know?
Points.
Burn a story point.
We already have a
yes,
scanner,
you've got
so
it.
Don't have to, but yeah.
Yeah.
This is actually one of the things that I love about
still
story
got
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
One of the things I love about story points in Fantasy Flight's Star Wars game does stuff like this too. Any game that you actually use as like a destiny point or story point system will be like, I spend a story point. Oh look, I found first aid. Oh look, we have life support masks and we didn't bring those. Who knew?
But it's also such a perfect companion moment where you're like, what, this?
Oh
Totally.
yeah, forgot about this.
Yeah, this device that Rocco initially was using to scan that reality beast.
This device that could have saved our lives a couple of times over the past couple of days. Yeah, I've got that.
All right, you use that for a scan. Get the rest of the supplies into Zeep's bag.
Okay.
And I will take a look in the rest now that I have my handy and dandy flashlight.
Okay.
Very gingerly, because we're on a slant.
Right. Yeah. So, Cillian, you're gonna run a scan. Is that right? Is that what you? Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't clear on what everyone's doing. Are you running a scan?
That was
and
just
you're
what I
gonna?
told you.
Well, yes, I am, but I don't really know what exactly I'm scanning for because we've already established that there's nobody else around.
Just because my clairvoyance doesn't work. I mean, it's not. Being inside a whale, it turns out, is not the optimal
It's also-
environment for
yeah,
It's
psychic
also
abilities.
it's also worth pointing out you're on a cargo ship that you aren't familiar with, so there could be. It really, I mean, you've
Okay.
only been in the cockpit of this thing, and I don't think the poachers are going to be able to claim what's left of this ship. So,
No.
so just keep in mind that there is two massive compartments.
All right, let's scan this mofo.
Okay, so
Alright.
you're going to go ahead and scan it. I'm sorry. And so, what are you doing, Sam?
I'm going to start looking. I'm going
Outside,
to
get an
proceed
idea of the ship?
just a little past. Yeah, I'm not going to go too far just yet.
Okay.
I want to stay at least within earshot in case your scan reveals anything
Yeah.
at first. I'm proceeding very slowly, very carefully. I'm not, it turns out, the best in ship environments where things might be a little dicey and there are holes in the ship.
Yeah. Well, as you two leave the cockpit, Zeeps just says, "I'll stay here. If you need anything, let me know."
Is my scan turning up anything?
Well, as you're walking down the stairs after leaving the cockpit and you walk down to the main entryway, this is a hallway that leads down to the belly of the ship. You see down this hallway, it opens up into the cargo area, and about, I would say maybe 60 or 75 meters away is just the vast openness of whatever.
Well.
There is no ship. So you see the rock face that's kind of like, again, you guys are kind of using the rail as you're walking almost sideways through this catwalked area. Yeah, Rocco's definitely, just from where you're at, you can see that this is a big rocky, it looks like somebody picked up the ship and just jammed it into the corner of a mountain. That's what it looks like because you're watching the rock face also kind of turn upwards.
So the ship is on the slant with the cockpit kind of nose up a little bit, yes?
A little bit, yeah.
So at the rock face, is there additional stuff where things fell out?
It's possible. Yeah, you're gonna exit the ship in the back to go take a look at the crash site, basically.
Depending on what I'm seeing, I mean, can I
Sure.
just, I guess, another perception check or something to look around, see
When you exit the
what's there?
ship, if you want to do that, yeah.
All right.
And you're gonna stay inside the ship to see what you can scavenge. Okay, so
Okay.
then we'll do it in this order. So go ahead and so Rocco goes up ahead and just hops down off of the breach basically onto the rock. Go ahead and make your roll, and this is going to be an ingenuity and I think tech, which is a good one for you, isn't it? Technology.
Not especially, no.
Okay, go ahead and try it. Oh, I'm sorry, and the scanner is giving you a +4 to your roll.
16.
16. Yeah, your foodstuffs, lots of rationed supplies, blankets. It looks like some survival stuff. You're detecting energy signatures, probably from stowed weapons somewhere on board.
Well, I'm gonna keep.
Doctor's like, I'm not there to stop you. So
I'm gonna keep
Yeah, I'm
scanning
not-
until I find those.
okay,
all
they're
of
not
them.
difficult to find.
Okay.
They light up on the scanner, so you go over and pull down a compartment, and sure enough, there are these laser pistols just kind of lined up. You're like, hey. There's a couple of areas that look blacked out, probably It looks like the scan cannot penetrate certain areas of the ship,
Okay.
but you are seeing like the basics for like survival, basic like cruise stuff for long voyages in space probably. But nothing special. It looks like this cargo bay was probably emptied out. You're guessing because they were planning on having a lot of harvested whale jammed in here.
So,
They probably didn't realize how much whale though.
so being that we know what we're in, right? We know we're inside a whale, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You heard
Yeah,
and
we
saw this
were-
thing coming.
Yeah. Okay.
Concussed to the point of retrograde amnesia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. Can I find something in there, some kind of gear, like some kind of gear to put on,
Like
not
armor or
space
anything?
exploration gear, but something like that that might be protective,
Yeah.
based on
I wanted to see if we could get a vac suit. I think
Yeah.
was the-
It's easy to find that. If you want anything more, I'll probably ask for you to spend a story point or two.
Yeah, that's
But-
cool.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me how many you'd like to spend,
Yeah.
because it'll really determine like what you can find in here.
I'll spend.
I'm just trying.
I'll spend 2 story
Two
points.
story.
on
Okay.
that. Yeah.
So you definitely find the EA, the environmental gear.
cool.
And it looks pretty snug. It looks kind of futuristic too, but it still has that annoying sort of bubble head sort of thing looking.
That's
Um,
cool.
it-
I
but-
love glam rock.
You find you find basically the space age equivalent of what it looks like a mishmash of SWAT body armor
Okay.
that looks adjustable.
Hell
Just
yeah.
straps over the chest and it has holsters and everything, along with a few ammo clips to the laser pistols.
That's what I'm talking about.
But yes, so go ahead and mark that down. The body armor is going to give you a -2 damage to any damage you take, except
Ooh.
psychic or anything. It's all physical damage.
Yes.
So go ahead and you strap that stuff on. You're like, oh yeah, I'm in Resident Evil now.
I
Body
was
armored
thinking like Dead Space.
Don't think Dead Space.
No,
Resident
don't
Evil.
use the word dead and space simultaneously right now.
You see a xenomorph just smoking a cigarette and going, yeah, just take it. It doesn't fit me. So, Amy's laughing.
We grow,
She can
we
picture
grow
it.
fast,
Take it.
yeah.
Was it?
We
Yeah.
grow fast, yeah.
Yeah. So that there's with 2 story points. Since you're burning story points on this, I'll say that there's a couple of these. So if Roko wanted one, they could probably have one as well. But
Does
for the-
Roko want one?
One what?
One of these!
Oh,
looking up to the back of the ship, you see Cillian's holding up what is easily described as body armor, basically.
all right, I suppose. Yes, that could come in handy. Thank you.
Here you go.
Just
Sorry.
lands next to you. It looks like it easily just straps up over your clothes. Fits arms, fits legs. It's almost like there's no helmet. But
There's
there
no
is.
helmet?
There's no like riot helmet or anything like that.
Oh.
It looks like it's just basic commando armor. There is a comm unit though. Off on the side. There's a couple of comm units.
Okay.
Don't worry, I'll look the other way.
Why?
Yeah. Your xenobiology starts to click in. You seem to remember something about humans having this strange sort of sexual immaturity that.
Oh, sorry, human.
Oh, filthy here. Got it. All right. I take a moment and I change into it and I continue to look around as I do that
Okay.
because I can use my eyes and also put on clothing.
Indeed. So as you're, so yeah, the air. It's not like the air is is thin in here, but it's breathable.
Good.
You might have to. Yeah. Well, for you, it's a little tricky, because there is no sunlight and there is no the carbon dioxide intake in this area is very.
Oh yeah,
you're
I'm
not-
bloody well starving. I haven't
So
seen the sun
it's
for
really
ages,
thin.
We've
It's-
got to find. If the oxygen levels are low, we're going to need like a respirator at some point, aren't we?
Surprisingly enough, you do find
Vaccine.
that even though the atmosphere feels kind of bizarre, I mean, you can only imagine that you must be breathing essentially what must be considered the breath of this creature, but it doesn't feel that way. It doesn't feel like you're inside like that. Okay.
Oh, we can also do
I got a
gas
test for the
exchange
two Star
because
Wars
the thing you
fanatics.
exhale is
What was
the
the
thing
name
I
of the
inhale and vice
asteroid
versa.
creature?
Ah, cool.
Do you
Plant
remember?
life.
No, not
Excellent.
the Minox that lived inside
The
of
little
it.
ones.
Oh yeah.
Remember that?
Oh, for Pete's sake.
What
Every time I ask questions like this, I just picture chat, just like
Yeah,
a waterfall of
What's the creature
answers.
asteroid in Star Wars?
Do you remember that thing?
Oh,
The big space
Oh,
worm?
I'm Trek, not
oh
Wasp.
God, I know this.
Oh man.
Of course
I'm
I
gonna
know
deduct
this.
story points from everybody. Everybody. No, not really.
I can't.
Ask the Googles.
I can't believe I'm blanking on
I
this.
should say that Duncan has an impressive knowledge of Star Wars.
I
all
don't
fired.
remember names of
Of course, it's kind of
crazy.
cheating because your dad was in Star Wars, but whatever.
It's not really cheating. I mean, I didn't
that's true.
learn the,
That's
the
true.
law from
That-
my dad.
That's true. You don't speak.
Exo course?
I think so.
Okay.
But Roko, I will say the environment is not as
I mean, they
easy
just
on
call it a
you as it's going
space
to be
slug.
on
Habitat
typical
for stomach?
lung-breathing.
I guess.
life
Maybe I
forms.
didn't know that then.
It
Maybe
could
there's
be
a
an
specific
explanation as to why
type of
clairvoyance is a
one, I
little
don't know.
tricky for you.
Right.
Because you're just not getting the energy. But yeah. So you're outside the ship now. Fastening on this body armor doesn't take more than a few moments. And Roko, I need you to make an awareness presence check.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Make that a resolve. You don't have to re-roll. Just add the resolve instead.
Resolve instead of
Awareness of resolve.
awareness resolve. Okay. 11, 7, 18.
Okay. So you hear them coming long before you
What?
see them.
Them?
Them. From the first few seconds upon hearing it, your imagination immediately lights up into the most horrible things you can think of, because the sounds that you suddenly start hearing coming from over the rock face are essentially. It sounds like this. It sounds like someone's just taking balls of wet, thick mud and just squishing it together. And you stop as you kind of look up as you finish strapping on this body armor, and then raise the light source. And the best way to describe them is it looks like you see. It's difficult to say how many there are because they're all the same translucent, milky white, sort of nasty color, but worms, essentially. Worms. Probably about the size of a grown human, snaking up over the hill, just kind of eyeless. They almost look like lamprey. They have these toothy mouths on the front, no visible face. As they're coming up over the rock face, and
Hey,
it looks like
baby.
they're both. It looks like they're kind of gasping as they come up over, like they're just. As they're coming up over these rock faces, as just to give you an idea, basic your skills in xenobiology, upon the sight of them. Probably smelling the air, tasting the air, whatever it is that they're doing, and they're all moving towards the ship. You would have to say there's at least 10 of them.
And I'm not
And they're moving in a
detecting them as
group that's
sentient.
kind of, what's that?
I'm not detecting them as sentient creatures.
These
like-
are definitely like animalistic
Yeah.
creatures.
That
And they're just,
Makes
and they're
them
kind of
psychologically-
sliming over each other. Like one's crawling over the other one stops and senses the other one, and they kind of examine each other for a second and lock teeth, and then they continue to move. And they're all just kind of sliming their way down the rock face.
All right. I scurry back up to Silly and because I don't want to shout back and forth as much as possible.
Okay.
And I say, we have incoming some kind of animal, probably the microfauna of the star whale.
And is it dangerous?
I would assume so.
Cillian,
I'm gonna scan. I'm gonna scan, see what it picks up about them.
okay. It's not difficult. I won't have you roll. You immediately, unless you want to see how well you do. If you want to scan, if you want to roll, otherwise I'll just give it to you. But if you want to roll to see if you do exceptionally well, I'll let you do that. Because it's going to be an easy roll.
Exceptionally poorly.
The difficulty is going to be easy, so the difficulty will be a 9. So if you
Oh,
want to run
yeah, go on
ingenuity and technology,
I believe.
Ingenuity, technology.
yeah, see what you get.
15.
Okay. Base animal life forms, Roko's probably spot on. They're probably some kind of essentially gut life form that lives within the whale. But that's not the alarming part. The alarming part is as you're running the scan and Roko's kind of looking out, you stop and look straight up to see one just starting to slither down just above your heads, just going.
I'm going to shoot it in the mouth.
You grab your gun and we're going to cut. To our.
Of course we are.
Yes, because this would be a Doctor Who moment where you just kind of look up to see one of these things go. and
looks
the giant tube worm, essentially. And then we cut to you screaming at River Song, who is waving her hands, going, "Yes, I know, you're upset. I understand that."
Turn this TARDIS around right now.
And go where exactly? Turn it where?
Back to where we left.
Where we left it was inside a giant space whale, and the TARDIS can't necessarily get out of that thing once it goes inside.
We could
I don't
try.
care. Am I awake?
Yeah, you're.
Is
Yeah,
she
you're.
still
You're.
injured, or
What's that?
Is she still injured from last time? Or?
I mean, yes, you still have your injuries, and you're still dazed, but you are aware that Lisa's screaming at River right now. You definitely recognize the form of your wife.
River Song, what have you done? What's going on? You know each other? What?
I just saved your life, dear. Oh, I kind of like
Just
this.
killed how many people did we have with us at this point? Like 8?
There are lives at stake and we've abandoned them. Go after them right now.
She says, "Darling, there are always lives at stake, and I can't go back for them because they're inside of a giant bloody whale.
And so will we be. Get out of the way.
If the TARDIS goes into that thing, I cannot guarantee that we return from it. And there's a lot to tell you, and there's a reason why I came and swiped you up.
What is
And
that
what
reason?
was the reason for leaving them
One
behind?
at a time. You see River just throw her head back. Bloody hell, you Time Lords are like children.
And you humans are like morons.
Human? Well,
Close enough.
Close enough, I suppose.
This is not the time. I can't believe what you've done. We've got to go after them. You can tell me whatever you need to tell me as we go.
What I've done is save you and possibly the universe from total destruction.
Let me at those controls.
She steps back. Walking over to the TARDIS control, you see you guys are indeed in the time vortex. She doesn't look like she's plot a destination yet. The destination was essentially a loop in the vortex.
All right. What can I see about the whale? Is there any way to search for our companions?
You can go back to the moment in time in which you guys left to see if you can find the whale. You would have to roll a... I mean, this is kind of what you do. You'd have to roll an ingenuity plus... You'd have to roll an ingenuity plus technology check, and you get all your bonuses, of course, because this is your baby.
Tech adept, and then my vortex +2 to pilot the TARDIS.
Yep. Of course, the difficulty will be astonishing, but you are the doctor.
There isn't just like a last channel button.
Like a redial.
Like a temporal undo.
Think of it like this. It would be like if you had a redial, but somebody had already picked up the phone, River, and had put in a bunch of numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Base 17. As I'm doing this, being like, on the off chance that you are correct, what do you mean about not getting back out of the whale? 23.
23. Yes, but you can go back to that specific time. You don't think the TARDIS can... It's for whatever reason, the TARDIS is having trouble identifying a place that it could go to, like, land. Getting inside the whale looks like that's a whole new monster. The TARDIS matrix on the inside is having trouble actually computing the destination. You could technically land on the whale, though.
On its exterior, but if it's the size of the planet, we can't exactly walk to the inside.
It is the size of a planet, to be charitable. I mean, it is essentially... I use the size of a planet to give you an idea of how massive this thing was, but keep in mind it's a whale, so it's a length as well. It's entirely possible this thing is close, less the size of Earth and probably more the size and length of like I wouldn't say Saturn because that's unbelievably huge, but do you know what I mean? It's bigger than Earth,
Like a good...
essentially.
It's
Lengthwise.
longer than Earth. If you
Right.
balled it up, it might be the size of Earth.
Yeah,
But
if
it's
you,
like
if you
Earth
crushed it, you got
stretched
you got
out.
your diameter and radius and whole thing
And
going.
the gravitational forces on that whale must be insane.
Oh, yeah.
To maintain that
And the fact that
shape,
it's moving
like-
dynamically through
Well,
space.
if you remember when I described it as this thing was approaching, it actually had a few moons in orbit.
A few.
Yes, you spotted the definite presence of moons orbiting this thing's flukes as it was approaching. What's that?
Yeah, I'm thinking it too.
Yeah, Obi-Wan would be like, "That's no, holy God! Okay, turn around. No, that's not the Death Star. Turn around.
Must go faster.
Must go faster. Yeah. Oh my God! And then it becomes a science fiction Jurassic Park crossover.
Well, it's one step closer anyway.
We won't lose it if we're on it.
That's good point.
Just find the blowhole.
It occurs to me that Jurassic Park was already science fiction.
Yeah.
It probably doesn't have a blowhole.
It's a documentary, isn't it?
Here's a question. Was Terminator
Logic.
horror or science fiction? Kind of both,
Genre
right?
mashup,
Terminator
yeah.
one
Kind
or
of
two.
both.
Anthropologist with a
Because it
specialist
matches
in
all the
bio.
horror themes. Terminator was Frankenstein's
Yeah.
monster or like the Golem. Anyway, all right.
First Terminator.
Comes back from the
definitely
dead
more
after
horror
he's
than the
killed.
second.
Just like, yeah, all right. Non sequitur. That's nothing to do with Doctor Who. Let's move on. Just cheers.
Right, I can't believe you've done this. All I can get us to is the surface, but it's a step in the right direction.
It might help you understand why I did what I did. Shall we talk?
As we go.
So first of all, as you know, our mutual friend here has been keeping tabs on you for me. How much have you told her exactly?
Nothing, bloody nothing.
I have to say, I absolutely love this. And she's like, you have style. I mean, I always had a sense of style when you know, a man, but it looks like it's carried over. And like, I love the scarf. I love that you've gone back to the scarf. She like immediately starts playing with it. Not as colorful, but I do like it.
Can we talk about more important things than fashion choices?
Can you describe something more important than fashion choices?
Lives! Lives of our friends!
Yes, of course you would say that.
You're terribly charming, but I don't have time for this right now.
Right, so what have you told her exactly?
Not much. There was a lot of getting rescued from certain death, unit, Jaguar people, very odd food.
We've been calling her Lisa because she won't tell us anything at all.
Lisa?
Can I-
River
can I-
smiles at you.
Can I just say, there was a lot of running from certain death. Love that.
Lisa, really? Is that the one? Is that what you're going to go by now?
I haven't been feeling very much like myself lately. I'm sure you know why.
Well,
I don't. I'd love to hear it.
You read the data.
Oh, right. Sorry.
well, I do love that we all seem to be finally enjoying the feminine mystique. River says with like this coy smile.
You're the first person to recognize me right off, and if I weren't so angry at you, I'd be delighted.
Well, I've been keeping my eyes on you thanks to our friend here.
If you've been watching, then how could you let all of them get eaten by a whale?
Because there are things going on outside of your immediate universe, Doctor, that inhibited me from interfering earlier.
Why?
Let's
Even
just
affected
say
by the paradox.
Gallifrey knows you're back.
They do.
Yes. Your escape from the TG base attracted some level of attention.
Right, I left you a widow, didn't I? In a manner of speaking.
Not the first time, she says, with sort of like that. You see the there's like a sad smile in her eyes, basically. Comes with a job, I suppose.
I'm sorry.
Oh, stop. You're sorry.
But I'm still very angry at you.
What's new? Wait a minute. You don't know who she is. You've been calling her Lisa.
I'm not quite sure what to think.
She said we want friends in her reality.
Well, we were
Really?
once, but it didn't last.
Really? Well, you must have been a right prick in the other reality, I suspect.
Maybe I took more after you there.
It's possible. Be honest. Did I look as good in the other reality?
It's so good to see you again.
Oh, you say so much by saying nothing at all. So shall we give you some backstory then, since you seem to be flying blind?
Flying blind is an excellent term for it.
Well, perhaps you should introduce yourself, River says, unless you insist on being called Lisa, and I can't take you seriously if we're going to call you Lisa.
Cillian picked that name. Cillian, whom, by the way, you have left to die.
Cillian,
Who's
Came
from
from my
her
world.
reality.
He's the only one who can help me track these changes in Paradox, and he's a right
there's
wonderful
another
guy.
one from your reality with
Yes! I told you that, I thought.
you? You said she had a human with her, but I mean, the Doctor always has a human with them. And it's from your reality? River looks like distressed suddenly.
Oh, now you care.
Of course I care. People from your reality are the only ones that can seal the breaches.
Well, it might have been good if you left him on the TARDIS then.
Well, I didn't know, did I?
What did you... Quick check. Do I know... I was already sort of unconscious in the... Do I know that he was left knocked out outside the TARDIS?
Yeah, your last... No,
No,
because you guys
they
were on
went
the
back to
elevator.
Yeah, we were on the
he and
elevator,
Zeke
and
went
then
back
went
to
to
the
the
TARDIS
You're-
like ages ago.
Yeah, your whole thing was this. I mean, you kind of assumed that Cillian and Zeeps would be in the TARDIS
In
by
fact,
now.
the last time I saw him, he was headed right here. What have you done with him?
Well, you see, there were a bunch of armed poachers that were trying to kill this giant space ball.
Yes,
and,
we dealt with
Right.
them.
and I dealt with 2 of them. I thought
Now,
I
not
didn't shoot them
poachers!
if it makes you feel any
River,
better.
why?
not poachers.
Because TGs have started to swarm out of Gallifrey and they are hunting you right now. And if we leave the time vortex, I cannot guarantee that they will not simply appear and try to kill us all.
Maybe the whale will take care of them.
Maybe we'll kill them first.
Have you ever traveled with her before?
Yes, that's why I haven't shot anyone lately.
I was going to ask you where your weapons were. You see, River's got kind of a smile on her face. Ah.
At least I was the same here.
River pats her revolver that she has slung to her side.
As are you. Right, so Cillian's there. He's from my world. We have 2 more breaches to close. There are lives at stake.
There are always lives at stake. I want to close the breaches. That's why it was important that you had to survive. That and because, quite frankly, I don't think this universe could stand to lose you twice. So,
So we're going after them.
but we have to. If he's also from your reality, that makes him something of a prime target. The TGs might go after him next.
And while we're getting him, we might as well get the rest of them.
I suppose.
There are 2 members of the Resistance in there.
Then definitely.
And I told you
You
about
could have asked
them
all of
too!
this beforehand.
Okay, I made a clutch decision in a moment where you were about to die. I have no regrets, so stop trying to make me feel all bad about myself.
Well, it's a good thing there wasn't any extra room on the TARDIS for everyone else.
She just gives you a raised eyebrow but doesn't say anything.
I could shoot her if you like.
Mommy would
Very
love to see you
tempted.
try. You may have been alive a lot longer than me, but I've been quick drawing a lot longer than you.
Oh, have you?
Oh, shall we? Shall we measure our egos? And she steps aside. She says, "It's not a stun setting, you know."
I know.
You're both mad.
You're watching this Time Lord and River basically showdown right here.
I think it just turns into a staring contest.
Okay.
Watch out, I'm going to get a bit jealous, River.
Yeah, they're staring each other down.
I'm going back to the controls.
Okay.
Have we landed?
Do you want to try? Okay, so I didn't have a destination from you. Do you want to go back to the space whale?
We'll start by going to the surface and see if I can get a better scan from there, or...
So make an ingenuity science roll.
Okay. 9, 5, any bonuses?
Yeah, you should have a bonus to time because you
This
can
is the
manipulate.
piloting again?
This would be no, not piloting yet. This is basically to triangulate. You're using your. You should have a bonus on there, I think, for the time vortex.
Yeah, it's just the trait vortex. The bonus was described as +2 to pilot the TARDIS, but it probably applies.
Ow. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you just say ingenuity
Ouch.
science?
Ingenuity and science. Yeah.
14, 15, 16. Is this tech adept?
No.
All right.
Nope. Nobody. Nope.
16, 8, 24.
It shouldn't be a problem getting the TARDIS on the surface of the whale, but you're not sure. The thing is, the whale doesn't exactly have topography that you can immediately.
So what's a whale skin made out of anyway?
I mean, it's basically like this isn't like landing on a planet.
Yeah.
It's not even like landing on an asteroid. This is going to be like jumping onto a moving train. So you can land on the whale, but you're not 100% sure you can guarantee exactly where on the whale you're going to land.
Anyone have any ideas? We've got to get back, but I can only sort of approximately land on this enormous space whale. I'd be fascinated if a little less were at stake.
Maybe closer to the mouth would be better.
If I can.
Closer to the mouth?
That's where they went in.
Well, that's not the only way into a whale, darling.
You got any insight to offer?
If it's a whale, it should have a blowhole.
Not 100% that sure the biology translates, but why not?
Okay, so if you're going to do it, then this is going to be a coordination. This is going to be an ingenuity transport roll.
13. Any bonuses?
Let me check here.
Looking at my traits. Charming, don't think that helps. Adversary.
You're like, let
Probably
me look at my
doesn't help.
traits.
Feel the turn of the
Amazing, fantastic. One of these days, we're going to have to figure out how to use this, but I have a character sheet for the TARDIS
Whoa, that's so cool.
filled with all these delightful tables in the back.
Oh my god.
Tables.
Because the TARDIS actually has its own speed, armor, and story points.
Neat.
So one of these days, we're going to have to dive into that mechanic.
Right, well, I'm going to spend a
Alright.
story point of the
That's
TARDIS to land near the blowhole here.
Might as well, right?
How
Since
many
I just
does
told
it
you you
have?
got them, might as well.
I mean,
I've only got 2
this
story
point-
points, so
I mean,
device
wouldn't
points
want
are going to be my best
interfere,
friend right now.
But at this point, we should, for the sake of like, the fact that
It has a table for
wouldn't
desktop
happen,
themes. That's hilarious.
Yeah, just let it happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Why would I? Why would I? Yeah.
Yeah,
of course.
fair enough. Okay.
Okay. Oh, cool. Excellent. So, so if you're going to make this, it's going to be an ingenuity,
Digestive, I'm just saying.
navigational flight control, energy projection.
You never know where they'll end up.
Yeah, they could miss it entirely. It could just be a fluke.
Oh, Sam. Damn it, Sam. Damn it, Sam. Okay, so
Hashtag
Minus
coupons.
4 story
minus
points.
4. So go ahead and make me a. It's going to be an ingenuity. I'm going to say. You keep saying it looks like it's calling upon tech, but I feel like it should be transport. What is your transport skill, by the way?
Transport is 4. Same as my tech, actually.
Same as your technology is only 4, really?
Yeah, my ingenuity is really
It's
high.
your
The only
ingenuity
reason
that's
that roll was so
9.
good.
It's off the damn charts. Okay.
Well, I'm currently at a 1 strength and a 4 resolve because I'm not feeling so good.
Okay. Oh, that's right. You got injured.
Yeah.
River's probably going to bring that up too, by the way. She'd also say, you're also in no condition. If we encounter the TGs, you're going to be in trouble.
We're all in trouble.
Yes, but this universe is in trouble if anything happens to you. Like it or
He's
not,
right about
you've,
one thing, at least.
like it or not, you've become special cargo, Doctor.
Doesn't change my mission.
It's going to be an ingenuity tech roll.
13.
Difficulty is 21.
And do I get 2 extra dice for spending the story point of the TARDIS?
Yes, I'll give you 2 extra dice for that.
Thank you. So 13.
Sonic
Do I
it up
get
today.
Tech Adept on this? Plus 2 to use complex technology.
Yes.
Yep.
I would say that's definitely in the purview.
13.
Yes, indeed.
14, 15,
And what you get?
24.
24.
Plus 7, 30.
Yes, indeed. Okay. So River
Thank you.
grabs the railings a little bit, and she just kind of gives you this stern look as the TARDIS begins to materialize.
And we all have to do this for a minute.
Yeah. And you hear that thudding noise as the TARDIS arrives at its destination.
Shall we?
Fine, and you clearly know who I am, so you might as well use my real name.
What shall I call you?
You said you know who I am.
Did the master have a name?
The Master. The Master is the Master's name.
On my world, we called you the master.
You see River immediately starts to laugh. The Master! Oh, no, darling. No.
Thought I was the master.
Oh, my goodness.
You said a snake sheds its skin and you've been behaving bizarrely since I met you. You try to get guns every time we go in a room.
Oh.
And she takes off her jacket and she untucks her shirt and she pulls it up a little bit to show her ribs, and there is a tattoo there that is a snake eating its own tail in Ouroboros.
Snake!
You recognize the tattoo of the Corsair.
Oh my
An
god.
old friend of yours you have not seen in a long time. Another Time Lord who'd like to jump galaxies and do questionable things on behalf of Gallifrey. And just pausing real quick, because there are actually a bunch of really clever Whovians that have been watching this show out there who somehow managed to guess Jodie's
Like
character.
right off the bat.
Like right off the bat.
Saying it right now.
Yeah, everyone's like, I knew it. You guys are all like, yes, there
I
are
just
some of
fall on you
some
in
of
a
you guys have
giant
done. I've done a pretty. I think I've done a pretty good job of keeping most of y'all guessing, but you did brilliantly
and
on
I was
this
just
one.
trolling everyone with Master Jim.
Because we totally from the
I-
beginning.
I said it.
Oh, God,
Just saying.
you thought I was the master and you let me have weapons? Are you mad?
It's been a very upsetting few days. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Darling, if she had been the master, we would have been in a lot more trouble than you realize.
You have no idea what we've already been with. We teamed up with Davros. It's been mental.
You see her face. What?
And they lost Stavros. Which
You?
was
Oh,
kind
you
of-
lost Stavros.
That was part of why I couldn't
He
really
was
tell
running
them
unit.
all
This-
the things because
Darling,
This world is insane.
darling, she comes over and she puts both of her hands very lovingly on the side of your face, and she says, "In every regeneration, I have found you to be absolutely gorgeous, and you are sweet and wonderful, and I adore and love you, and you know that. One of these days, would you please, for the love of everything that has ever existed, put a bullet in his head and save us all the trouble?"
Would I be the person you think I am if I did?
No. And she kisses you sweetly on the cheek, and she's, "You drive me crazy." And she steps away and starts walking towards the exit of the TARDIS door.
I'm putting my coat back on and
Cole, do you want to go first? You feel that irritation as she uses her nickname for you.
fine.
Lisa the Corsair.
Lisa the Corsair. I like it. I think we should call you Lisa the Corsair from now on.
It's got a bit of a ring.
I just pull out my gun and look at her
Oh,
She
it's so nice.
She just
of
raises
you.
her hand. She's it's just a thought.
and head out the door.
You open the door into the expanse. You are on the back of a giant effing space whale that is currently propelling itself at sublight speeds through space.
Yes, that's a whale.
It's because there is no immediate sun. It's basically this massive dark landscape that spreads out long before you guys. Again, the size of this creature is so mind-boggling. It does not seem to have a curvature as you are on what you. If you landed correctly, it should be its back. The mountain in front of you. That's probably. You're guessing it's probably got to be at least close to 300 feet at its peak, has got to be the blowhole, or at least part of it.
On a planetary scale, we got very close. On a planetary scale, we got very close.
River says, "You should have let me do it. But
Done enough for today.
we are going to have a little bit of problem getting to the blowhole, though, without life supports. The TARDIS's range on keeping us alive will phase out if we wander too far.
And I worry about leaving the TARDIS here if the TGs are looking for it.
There's no telling. They may be on their way here right now, sensing a temporal disturbance. But it's hard to say because the space whale doesn't exactly behave to the normal laws of the universe.
Just think how wonderful it would be if we hadn't left people to get eaten there. We wouldn't have to deal with this at all.
It'd be much simpler, wouldn't it?
Yes, wait. No, it appears I still do not regret what I did.
I could not shoot her but punch her in the face.
Such a nice face, though. Right, let's see if we can't find something helpful in.
There's plenty. I mean, the TARDIS. There's plenty in the TARDIS.
Yeah.
If you need to get something. Okay. So as you guys head back into the TARDIS to get your life support systems, we cut back to Cillian popping off rounds of a giant space, a gut worm from a space whale trying to drop on your head, kind of like a xenomorph. So I'm going to need you. I'm guessing you're not talking.
No.
Or
I don't think it knows any English.
yeah.
Yeah.
For the record, in case Chad is shouting, I haven't forgotten that I have an interdimensional message in my Sonic. It's just not really the right time to
Right.
go checking that.
Oh, I forgot that.
It's also weird now to do this without my Sonic here. I keep being like, I do. Oh,
Yeah,
it's-
where's this?
I forgot to get it.
Oh.
Okay.
Refresh my memory. The interdimensional message from the
Well,
doctor.
you said right as we closed the breach, something came. Like I was going to try
Yes,
to
that's
call
right.
out,
Yes.
but basically
One
instead
of the
I
doctors.
downloaded a message.
One of the doctors basically emailed you.
Hopefully from my 12, yeah.
Yeah.
You've got mail.
Yeah.
It's just like blinking in the Sonic, which is just like, don't you want to? But yeah.
Yeah.
not-
No,
not
it's like when
exactly
you
the
leave
moment.
the notification on for the message
That's
rather
what
than pick
drives
it
you
up.
nuts.
Yeah. So what am I rolling for?
So right now you are going to need to roll for your. This is going to be a coordinate. Well, you are shooting. Well, you're gonna basically
Yeah,
blast
you're
this
attacking.
thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is going to be a coordination marksmanship.
Sorry for the tagalog. I got excited.
10.
Okay. These things aren't exactly maneuverable, and
Yeah.
you missed. You fire off a shot. It smashes into the ceiling. Sparks rain down upon you. This thing drops. Its initial instinct was to drop on top of you and nom, basically. You missed, but you just missed barely. So when this when the shot goes off and you see the sparks rain down and this thing drops, you actually manage to just cringe back and sidestep. As this thing probably looks like it weighs close to 60 pounds. That's how big it is.
Whoa. Okay.
It goes thudding into the deck. Splattering noise. You can see through the milky white skin of this worm creature. It's essentially, yeah, it's like a larval sort of nasty. No eyes. So as this thing collapses into a splattering noise right in front of you, it immediately begins to rear up, and again, there's that sort of disgusting breath intake as its teeth fold out and goes as it starts taking in all of the scent to try to find out where you disappear to. And as it does that, you see the ones coming over the mountains. It looks like they've kind of been tipped off to where y'all are, and they all sort of and they start moving faster in your direction. They're down below though,
Great.
because you pulled yourself back up into the ship. But now we're in combat.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start talkers.
Yeah.
Is anyone running? Roko's like,
Well, if there's 6 of them and they're that big and I'm a bad shot, which I am,
Well, now you're at point blank with this thing. Now you're at point blank with this thing,
I still have a 2 marksman score.
which is only a
Pretty bad.
point. That's actually a human average.
Okay.
3 would be like you've been trained. 4 is you're skilled. 5 is you're an expert, and 6 is you are.
I think we
inhumanly
might
snipery.
want to run. I think we can out. Oh, but if we run, then Zeeps is in the ship.
not
We
leaving
have to.
Zeeps.
If
What you gonna
okay.
do?
I know I will be running
Okay.
because I'm going to run back to the cockpit because that door makes a lovely choke point.
Okay.
We can shut the door on them, eh?
Bolting
Yeah.
back towards the cockpit.
Let's do that.
Yeah,
Let's
Okay.
run back
we've
out
gotten
the
everything we
door.
need from the rest
Yeah.
of them.
The thing
so-
kind of lunges, but initiative. You guys went first. You ran.
Yeah.
This thing snaps in your direction as you see the other ones crawling down and starting to come up to the side of the ship. It's a little bit of a workout as y'all run kind of up the incline, sort of slant sideways on this catwalk. I'm gonna need you all to make a coordination athletics check.
Balls. I've been here before.
As you're running up inside the ship.
14.
14.
But I have this brave +2 versus fear thing, and this run for your life +1 speed thing. So do
So you're
both
running-
of those count?
You're running.
I'm definitely running
get
for
to
my
run,
life.
or you get to be brave.
But
I don't
does
know
the
if you get to be
brave
brave.
the brave thing probably doesn't
Brave
count
thing
right
doesn't
now.
count.
That's-
And run
that's
for your
a
life just
different
means you're
situation.
running faster than these things.
Yeah.
Are going to be able to catch up to you here because their speed is not that high. What-
But that gives me a +1 speed.
Yeah, it just
so
means
that
you're
would be
running faster.
15 rather than 14 then.
16.
Okay, you two actually managed to navigate the tricky landscapes of this sideways ship. It wasn't that difficult. I only set it at 12, so
Okay.
So you guys managed to get back to the cockpit, and when you get there, you see Zeeps is leaning up, and it looks like he's just sort of like checking his neck. And as you two run in, and I'm guessing you kind of pull the door closed. There, he's like, oh God, what? Oh, what is it? Oh God, what?
It's okay. There are these giant worm things out there, but
What do you mean it's okay?
They can't get in here. We shut the door on them. They can't see. They don't have any eyes.
I
They
can already
can't get in
see
here.
Rocco has already realized the fault in the logic here.
They can't get in except for, and I point to the
The
hole.
huge gaping breach at the front of the ship where it's been pulled up. You're like, it's okay, they can't get. And then like Rocco points, and all three of you just turn and look at this massive like gaping hole in the front of the ship.
But that's our way out. It's the opposite side of.
Yeah, that will
them.
buy us enough time. I mean, these things are blind, so they're finding us through scent, I think.
Or hearing. I think perhaps the blasting might have alerted them.
If you want, Rocco, since this is
Yeah.
kind of your field of study, I'll let you make an ingenuity science roll.
Okay.
And this would be an application of your xenobiology.
That is not the field in which I have
What is
my
it?
domain knowledge.
Oh.
I'm an anthropologist.
An anthropologist. Never
primarily
mind.
With a
So if
minor
these
in
things
biology.
ever create any kind of pottery that explains their culture, you're in great shape.
Right.
If they ever create arts
Exactly.
or any kind of like cultural significance that actually
I'm
explains their
aware
development.
indicates that they.
I take biology in graduate school in order to understand more about how that might influence your culture, but it's not my area of specialization directly.
And they just drop in through the breach and they present you with gifts.
So,
They vomit forth
what was that,
like
ingenuity
booster
knowledge?
packs of magic.
Ingenuity
What's that?
science? Ingenuity knowledge, ingenuity science? What was
This would be ingenuity science.
it? Oh.
Such beautiful slime paintings.
Since you are technically a scientist, you might have a general idea of how this works.
15.
15, yeah. It looks like they're probably tasting the air to find out where you are all coming from.
All right. So, we have to disguise our scent somehow. I go to the first aid kit to see if there are any smelly chemicals or something that could do a scent masking thing somehow.
Good idea.
Yeah, exactly. This would be a story point kind of deal.
All right. I think I must needs do that.
All right.
I think
Burn a
that's
story point.
that is the play.
That is the play.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you kind of empty the first aid kit, so you're not seeing anything there. However, some of the chemicals that are in the first aid kit that you have, while they don't have necessarily any like ability to block scent, theoretically, they could be used to, if raised to a high enough temperature, you could theoretically create enough of a sense to kind of overload or confuse. It wouldn't be enough to mask, but it might be like shining a flashlight in their face with regards to. So if you take some of the, because right now you have like a few stimulants on you to keep you guys kind of awake and alert, whatnot. It's like your standard med kit stuff. If you were to say burn it in a flash pan or something like that, you might actually be able to create enough of a residue that
Could
it
we
could.
find a flare, for example?
Yes, I would definitely say that would be in the cockpit. I wouldn't have
That
you roll
could
for that.
work.
That's kind of like standard issue.
Yeah.
All right.
Could Zeeps have some typical teenager body spray on him?
He just pulls out his
Just
axe.
spray it.
Future
and-
axe,
Body
yeah.
spray.
Space axe.
When I'm being hunted by intergalactic tube worms, I use Axe body spray.
No, it's a
When
commercial
did-
where he sprays it and then all the worms descend on him, and it's like, yeah.
Yeah, and then he dies.
Oh, so every week they're changing over sets over there, and I get to watch somebody carry a life-size bear.
That's
through
Trinket.
the set.
Trinket.
I
That's Trinket.
just yeah.
Special guest Trinket, ladies and gentlemen. We love you, Trinket.
Hello, Trinket.
If you were my pet, I would barely use you in combat either. I would just when I first met Laura, and I was asking her about how she liked playing a ranger, she said she lamented the fact that she chose Beast Mastery as her ranger class because she's so terrified of losing Trinket. She's like, she freaks out when she sends him into combat. She gets really anxious about it. I love that.
Right.
I remember that very well.
Yeah.
I had a leopard once.
Yeah,
named
you
Pointy
were.
End.
It's not like World of Warcraft. You can just send them off and like, oh, they're dead. That's cool, and they're back.
Right.
Although the new Ranger class does have some pretty cool options.
Query, Cillian.
Yes.
What length is your hair? Also, what length is Zeep's hair?
My hair's
Zeep's
pretty
hair
long.
is actually
It's like
your
shoulder
length.
All right.
Ellen Ripley and Alien 3 length.
Okay. Maybe actually, if we take a bit of that hair, then at some point, if we need to throw them off the scent, that might work. I don't know. But other possibilities if they're tasting for organic life. But for now, looks like we should get out the breach, slide down the ship, distract them with the flashy axe smell, and run for the lights. Is that a plan?
I can't believe that's the plan, but yes, that's the plan.
All right. I
Did
grabbed
you guys bring
the
a suit for Zeep?
vac suit because there were two vac
Yeah.
vac suits,
We
two
did.
body
There
armor.
was enough for all of you.
There was
Yeah.
one for Zeep.
Yeah, 'cause there was enough for-
Oh, there was
Prove
armor
it.
too for Zeep?
Yeah.
Not
Or
for
just the
Zeeps,
vac
no.
suit? All right. We give Zeep's the vac suit. Zeep's.
Starts putting it on frantically.
All right. Cool. He's up.
He's
good.
good. He's
Are
good.
you good to
Okay.
run? Are you good to stand?
Yeah, I can run.
Okay. Good. We will be calling on you to do precisely that.
I'm a good runner. Yeah.
Excellent. And we've put all of the equipment that we've had into his bag.
Okay, yeah. Just stuffs it in there.
Lovely.
Zips it up.
All right.
Zips
Zips
it up.
up.
That's what you get, Sam. That's what you get.
I accept that. All right. Time to go.
Time to go.
Let's do it.
I don't know why I'm nodding. I'm
So you're
not
gonna open that door and sort of throw the flash bomb down the. What are you doing?
So based on the speed that we perceive the creatures coming before we
They
close the
don't look like
door-
they're too fast.
Right. So my imagining was that we would, it's tilted, so we're out of the cockpit, slide down the body of the ship. Now we're not going to be that far away from them, and then we flash it at them
Okay.
as we go past.
Okay.
That was my
okay.
image of it.
So you guys open it up. Zeeps stays
it's
clo-
well
close to
open.
the opening on the other end of the cockpit. You guys kind of make your way back down. You're not seeing them.
Oh, I thought we
And
were
as you
going
get to the cargo area, you see all of them have gathered around what left of the foodstuffs that you guys couldn't take with you, and they're feasting on the foodstuffs.
Okay, maybe we can stealth.
Okay.
stealth-
Maybe
Yeah,
we can
I'm-
just avoid them.
One of them immediately just kind of rears up and takes in the air.
Oh,
And,
of
and,
course.
and as the two of you stand there, kind of stop for a second, it takes in the air, and you see its teeth close for a second, and then it goes right back to the foodstuffs.
Subterfuge or something? Stealth past?
What's that?
Do we need to subterfuge or something to stealth past them?
Yes. Go ahead and make a coordination. Yeah, I guess it would be subterfuge roll.
Yeah.
Coordination, subterfuge.
12.
12.
13.
Okay. Cillian's making a little bit of noise as you guys are walking to the grate. They don't seem to care. You guys you're making enough noise where they should probably notice you, but they are and it looks like they're very slow eaters too. It is a little disconcerting because you're watching the food packs that they're eating slide back into their bodies because they're translucent. So you're watching this kind of like, because it's just kind of going back in.
All right.
But for the most part, they seem completely disinterested in the both of you now.
All right.
Excellent.
The three of them, yeah. All right. We proceed very quietly.
Okay.
I
You
think
get
that
to
was
the
her
you get to the
waving
rear of the
Zeeps
ship at this
down,
point.
right?
Them, but
Yeah.
yes.
Then
Okay.
waving Zeeps down. My bad.
You get to the rear of the ship.
All right.
Yeah.
That-
Okay.
All right. And the way out of the ship is the way toward the light
Toward the
that I saw when I was.
The lights? Yeah. The distant lights? Yeah.
Mhm. Well,
Is Zeeps with you or is he?
Yes.
called
Yeah,
up?
he's
okay,
yes,
cool.
Zeeps
yeah.
is 1,000,000% with us.
Zeeps looks horrified by
Right.
these things. They look like a science project gone wrong. He's clutching Rocco as you guys are moving past him. He looks like he's going to say something, but then he thinks better of it and says nothing at all. And you guys move past. Let me roll his stealth.
Oh god.
He rolls terribly.
Oh.
Oh no.
They still don't seem to care.
Okay.
Zeeps goes, "Oh my god!" And you all move on. It looks like even as they're finishing getting their stuff of the food packs, it looks like they have no interest.
All right.
You guys hop down out of the ship now, and you see the the rocky landscape, and the distant lights.
How distant?
if they are lights from some kind of civilization, probably a few miles. But you are picking up a smattering of lights here and there that are close by. It's very. You're also seeing this kind of along the walls as well, so to speak. It's like you're looking down a giant. And is everyone okay? Cool.
At a giant what, though?
What's that?
At a giant what? I missed it.
Giant, I know, we had a crash here. In memory of Sack's car, you will be missed. Looking down this giant black void, if this is a city or some kind of like place where people live, if these lights are what you think they might be, it looks like they're smattered all throughout and going up off into the darkness. It looks like kind of Inception-ish. Like, it looks like maybe if these lights are cities, they're kind of all over the place, lining down the back. It's entirely possible it's bioluminescence, but you're not sure.
That was my working theory. We've already seen some
It's
of
entirely
the
possible.
microfauna.
But there is one that's not too far away, a very visible light source that looks like just a puffball in the darkness, probably less than a mile away to the east of you guys.
All right. Well, I think we should head there first. If Meatstick and Velik and Finn took off on foot, I would assume, I would hope that that's where
That
they've
they're
gone.
following the lights, yeah. Yeah, I think so too.
All right.
Sorry about all of the shooting back there.
Are we apologizing
No.
for that? Zeeps looks concerned.
Well, it was coming right at my head,
I would
and
have shot it.
but if I hadn't shot it, maybe the rest of them wouldn't have come after us.
We've come out of it okay. We have to be careful about blasting. But, and I know this might shock you, you're not the first person I've been around who has wielded a weapon.
Who likes to shoot blasty, bangy, bangy stuff.
I know.
I do appreciate the concern, though. We are in a beautiful creature, and although I would hate to see any harm come to her, I don't think that will do it.
Well, we're definitely in a creature. But I have to confess, Roko, this whole place makes me really, really uneasy.
I understand, Cillian. This is not some place any of us expected to be,
No.
but there are some very basic rules of traveling as I have with the Resistance, or as you have traveling with the Doctor. One does tend to be no blasting. But
Where one can avoid it.
another is no despair. We have the most brilliant woman in all the universe out there looking for us, and she will find us. We must have hope. We must always have hope. We can do this, and you're more brilliant than you know. I'm glad that even if I can't have anyone else along, I'm really glad I have you.
Thanks, Roko. I'm glad you're here too, because I don't think I could do any of this without you.
I'm glad we don't have to find out. Zeeps, I know this is more than you ever bargained for, but we're going to do this. Now come on. We're going to escape a space whale.
On that note, as you all step out in your environment suits,
Are they
Doctor.
the orange ones?
Yeah. River says, I'm just curious, as she's closing the door of the TARDIS, has anyone just figured out how we're going to get out of the space whale once we have rescued your friends?
Haven't got quite that far in the plan.
Do you ever get quite that far in the plan?
It seems to usually work out one way or another. Right, we've got to find them, we've got to get them all in the TARDIS, we've got to get out of here before the TGs detect a temporal disturbance.
Right.
Oh, it sounds easy.
I'm open to suggestions.
Well, we have some time before we get to that bloody big blowhole, so maybe we can come up with something by then.
I
Right.
bet you do.
Do we know anything about the digestive system in there. I'm just assuming they're still alive because I need them to be.
It's not exactly inside of an encyclopedia, I'm afraid. There's not too much known about this creature.
I've never actually met one.
Well, there's rumor that this might be the progenitor.
Really? Well, you are extraordinary, aren't you? I say to the ground.
Yeah. This black, kind of cracked, rubbery, like, surface.
Under more pleasant circumstances, it would be lovely to meet you.
The scarring across the surface of this whale, probably because it's been impacted by comets and asteroids. Yeah, and at that point, as you're kind of looking around, you do actually see one of those moons in a quick orbit starting to peer up.
Amazing.
Yeah. And it's a moon, looks like it's mostly ice. The surface of it is not surprising, considering that this spends most of its time orbiting a creature that doesn't spend a lot of time around the sun, or from what you can tell.
Is there any way, I know we're on massive, crazy distance scales, but is there any way to lock into the fact that, let's say, I don't know everybody split up, so like Finn was wearing a vortex manipulator. Can I scan for it?
You can totally scan for it. Yeah. Pull out the old sonic screwdriver.
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and make your roll. It's going to be an ingenuity tech roll.
13, 14, 15.
That was the exact thing you wanted to say, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
Was it?
19?
No,
We both have
you're
psychic.
not detecting
abilities, so
anything.
you know. Can I only have 2 story points.
What about detecting the energy from your universe? Should have a different frequency.
That's not a bad idea. I wonder if I can find Cillian. Can I do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead and make the scan. It's going to be ingenuity tech roll.
The Sonic still has 1 story point, but I'm running low in general.
Should we
Yep.
wait and see what you
Me
roll
too.
first?
I could bump up this. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
13, 14, 15. This one is tilted.
Double TARDIS.
Yeah. Okay, so 13, 14, 15 plus 12 is 27.
27. And so you're trying to scan for a signature from Cillian?
Yeah.
Your sonic is picking up nothing outside the surface of this whale.
Sorry.
You're nothing in the vicinity of the sonic is being picked up as Cillian.
Yeah, he's quite far away.
Might have to go inside for that to work.
I suppose you're right. Would the signature thing work even if, God forbid, he were dead right now?
Probably yes.
Okay, well, at least I can rule
The
out.
vibration of his molecules are completely offset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, in this case, better to have no information than...
Yeah.
Nothing yet. We'll have to get closer, I suspect. I think you're right.
Okay. So you head towards the giant blowhole. It takes probably a good 30 minutes walk to reach what essentially is a mountain. As you guys are approaching it, I mean, if you're trying to... This whale, the flesh of this whale is very not like earth whales. It's very mountainous, very rocky looking and feeling. It does have that sort of like hard, thick rubber feel to it, but the mountain up ahead of you actually looks pretty akin to basically a large black mountain. As you reach on the inside, it looks like the mountain has sort of been carved in half, and there are these 2 gaping chasms that you could fit the state of Texas inside. Like it
Half
is.
which way?
He would know.
It was basically, yeah. So it's like split right down the middle. It's pretty. It's pretty symmetric. So like, here's the peak, and then it kind of comes down in a very sharp slant, and then right down the middle is like another large slab of mountainside or rock, and then there's 2 gaping chasms on either side. It's basically a whale's blowhole. Like a giant nose, essentially, on the top of a whale. And so these huge caverns descend off into darkness. They are, again, mind-bogglingly large. You could fit...
Quite massive.
Massive would be a good word. You could fit, to give you some more sci-fi perspective, if you took every ship in Starfleet, you could fit them inside the blowhole of this creature.
We can't even see the other side.
No.
Yeah.
It's you can see the outline of it against the blackness of space. But the size of this blowhole is akin to the Grand Canyon, essentially. It is incredible. And as you reach the ledge, you just see it goes down, down, down into the total crushing black oblivion.
These distances are a bit unreasonable.
They're disconcerting.
So what does this even do? It doesn't breathe oxygen.
No.
Well, let's hope it doesn't, because if it decides to sneeze while we're going down it, I don't want to think what's going to happen.
Fair enough. It's probably got some sort of defenses against people entering, so we might want to be a bit on the lookout.
I think we're pretty much the size of viruses to it, you know.
Right.
Doctor-
and
Immune
Bodies
system,
aren't fond
yes,
of viruses,
immune system
yeah.
perhaps, but
River looks like she's like, I don't think this is reasonable.
Really?
If we did decide to go down into this blowhole, it's going to take us weeks,
yeah,
possibly months before we reach the bottom.
we might never find them.
We might need to take the TARDIS inside.
We're just going to have to talk with her and tell her that she'll have to figure out how to get inside the whale.
I'm sure you've gotten her out of stranger places than this.
The only problem is essentially the reason why I rescued you in the first place is because being inside the whale is a bit tricky. The whale sort of has its own... It's sort of in a universe unto itself once you enter inside.
Right.
We don't know that much about it based off of what I've read and seen. Only that nothing that has gone in has come back out.
Well, I think that's only going to make her want to go in even more.
Shall we?
You guys about face it and start your walk back to the TARDIS. And about that point, we come back to you guys. You two are staring in astonishment because as you've come over the rock face towards this puffball of light, what you've discovered is it's actually a very large sign that says open. It is in front of what looks like a two-story old-fashioned tavern built just on top of what looks like a stabilized rock face. And there's a neon sign out front. There's
Found a pub in an alien space whale.
there is
get
a
drinks.
sign that says the jaw, the bottom jaw, and it says open. Bzz, bzz, it's just blinking open. You see, there are a few it looks like essentially hover bikes and some such staged outside in front of this bar. And
Anywhere Finn would have gone, it would have been in here.
you can hear you can hear it's not like thudding loud music on the inside, but you can hear music inside. And you see shapes moving inside of windows inside this. Essentially, it's this bar out in the middle of nowhere, except inside this whale.
I take off running immediately.
Rocco immediately dashes forward.
Rocco, she's gone.
Zeeps is like, am I going insane or is that a bar?
Thank God it's not just me. I mean, how does she deal with this stuff, Zeeps?
I don't know, but that is a pub inside of a bloody
Inside
whale.
of a whale. People live in here. In the whale. People live in the... There's a business in a whale.
Zeeps looks totally at a loss. It looks like you've actualized everything that Zeeps is trying to verbalize. Like,
Well, might as well go in.
yeah, all right. And you and Zeeps follow Rocco. You throw open the door in your environmental suit, and you see aliens. It looks like a quiet bar, like a quiet little pub. So scanning the area, you see aliens from all types. A few human-looking creatures, a few non-human, various sort of like far out there, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Doctor Who-ish style aliens just sitting at the. No one
Restaurant
really
at the
even.
end of the universe style in there.
What's that?
It's a restaurant at the end of the universe.
Yeah, restaurant at the universe style, like all sorts of
Tavern at the
bizarre.
bottom jaw of a whale.
Bizarre looking
Would you call it a hive of scum and villainy?
Not quite, but definitely in the diversity of and there is a jukebox playing some bizarre
Krillin-y.
music in the background.
Yes.
And behind the bar, you see all of these bottles, all of these alcohols, all these liqueurs, all of these drinks just lined up, 9 stacks, like shelves going up high. And you see an old man. He looks like a grizzled old man with like a beard, human from the looks of him. He's wearing he's got a button-up shirt. It looks like it's an old dress shirt that he's probably worn down. Pearled buttons. He's rolled up his sleeves, towel slung over his shoulder, and he looks up at you and stops as you come busting through the door, and he goes, "Haven't seen one of those suits in a while." And he goes back to like polishing his bar.
Hello.
Must be new.
Yes, I am. I'm Rococococo, and I'm looking for other new people. Have you seen any?
Do you have a stutter?
I beg your pardon?
You have it. What do you want to drink?
Well, perhaps you could tell me, did anybody else new come in here lately? They might have ordered grog or ale or something.
Grog? What's that?
I haven't the
that a drink?
slightest. She never told me.
You're the newest person to come through these doors.
Oh. Where else do you think new people might go near here?
Well, some of them try to make it down to Cosm. Some of them don't ever come back. Hard to say.
Cosm, what's that?
At this point, you two have entered the bar behind Rocco. You've seen what I've described. It has that same atmosphere of like a drunk Sunday afternoon at a pub. Like everyone here is like they should be like seeing this atmosphere. You kind of hear your dad's voice bitching and moaning about how they should all be at church or something, but here they are instead. Your dad, of course, being an alcoholic, was always never at church. So,
Yeah.
but
he,
as
he liked to practice what he did not preach.
exactly, yeah. So you see that, but it's again the alien atmosphere. These like bizarre creatures all sharing drinks. As you walk in, you say Cosm, and he was like, "Yeah, this is the nearest city, I guess, is what you'd call it."
There's a city in here.
Oh man, I
There's a tavern.
haven't had this conversation in a long time. And he goes back to like wiping down the bar, and he's like, "Do y'all want anything to drink?"
Yes.
We've gone through this before. Remember when we hadn't any currency to pay for our drinks?
Fine, Rocco. Was gonna see what I could get away with here. It's been a
we might
it's
not
been a
ta-
long few days, but no, thank you.
We need not antagonize the people more experienced in the ways of being inside of a whale.
He smiles again and says, "You are new."
Yes, we are. It gives you fresh opportunities to attempt to scam us or whatever you will. But we seek our friends, so...
Well, no one else has come through my doors looking for anybody else, so you might consider your friends might be gone. I've seen it happen.
No,
Not everybody makes it through the swallowing process.
not everybody, but
Not
they do.
from you. He points over at some guy who's about to like make a comment to that, and he's like, "The joke's over. I don't want to hear it anymore. All right?"
Was it a human, incidentally?
Yes.
Humans are filthy.
He goes back to cleaning the bar and says, "Right.
Well, how far is Cosm from here? If we were to try
Cosm,
and get there,
I don't know. Maybe 2 cycles.
cycles. What?
We're new.
Sometimes our how would you call it? Sometimes our new homekeeper likes to sleep pretty steadily.
What kind of time interval?
I don't know, by the cycles. You spend enough time down here, you kind of lose any sort of idea of what other time intervals there are.
Is it a long period of time?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not bad. Where are you from originally?
Earth? Yeah, I'm Earth. I'm from Earth, England.
Never heard of that. I think I heard of Earth, though.
Okay.
If you haven't heard of Earth, you certainly wouldn't have heard where I'm from.
Well, I'll tell you what. You're new. He pulls over 2 glasses and says, "Sorry that happened to you. Welcome to your new life." And he pours 2 tall glasses of what you assume must be beer or something, and they fizz up. He's like, "Those take some getting used to, by the way.
Loath
If you're
as
not
I
from inside Levitus, then you kind of need some getting used to. We don't grow crops like people do on the outside, if you know what I mean."
No sunlight in here.
What's it made of?
Try it. Go on, try it. Yeah, okay, you drink it. The taste is actually, it's not bad. You have a feeling that if he told you what it was made of, it would probably influence the taste, and you're kind of glad he didn't tell you. But the fermentation, it's not bad. It tastes kind of like, it tastes like maybe it's a step above American beer.
In the stomach of a whale.
In the
Still
stomach.
a step above.
Still a
American
step
beer.
above Coors or Millers or any of that crap. You're just like,
Fair.
all right.
Not bad. Not bad. How about let's not talk about what it's made of?
That's a pretty common request.
Now let's. I'm trying to figure out what these cycles are. How many times do you sleep before the end of a cycle?
We do use hours. Are you familiar with hours?
Yes.
Okay.
Good.
So there's 36 hours in a cycle.
Oh, that's
Oh.
incredibly helpful. I found it so curious that a society shouldn't have smaller units of measurement for time. Anthropologist.
You're
So-
human, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so we're all kind of a little familiar with sort of a day-night cycle on our prospective planets.
Yes.
Think of it like that then.
So
Yeah.
it's about 3 days, 3 Earth days away.
Wow, your days are short wherever you're from. Earth? 3 days is 36 hours?
No, it was 2 cycles,
Right.
36 hours.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
distance
I see what
from
you're
here
saying now.
to
Yeah.
about 3 days.
Math kids.
Okay.
Are there
Yeah.
any common routes that one would take to get to Cosm?
Yeah, there's one road.
All right.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Take you straight there.
And I know we met some of the, I assume, the biological inhabitants.
Oh, the wolf forms. Don't worry about them. They don't actually go after anything that's alive.
I beg to differ. They definitely came after me.
Oh, they'd spit you out. He pulls up his sleeve and you see teeth scars in his arm. He's like, one got a hold of me right when I got here. Spit me right back out. Terrifying. Don't get me wrong. Terrifying.
Well, that's reassuring, I guess.
Yeah, no. You should have seen the things that used to live around these parts.
Anything else we need to be wary of then?
Nah, the closer you get to the city, you'll be fine.
All right. I much appreciate it.
Don't,
I'm sorry, I didn't get your name.
my name's Malloy.
Malloy. Pleasure to meet you, Malloy.
Fun fact, I named him after Colin Malloy, the lead singer of the Decemberists, who wrote a song, The Mariner's Revenge, about 2 sailors who get stuck in a whale.
Huh.
That's a great song.
Oh.
Very impressive. Now,
Cool.
Don't
And
let this end like that.
I see that there were a few hoverbikes outside. Are those from your patrons?
Yeah?
Which ones?
You'd have to ask them. I don't want to know what you're asking about.
No, I just want to know which ones so that I can ask them.
Go ahead and ask them. Enjoy your froth. Welcome to Levitus.
I walk away from the froth. I'm feeling very hungry and I can't have anything except water and sunlight.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. I don't feel very well.
Yeah, you're not feeling it right now.
I am not feeling it. It's
Cut
not
to Doctor. I need you to make a coordination transport roll. Or I'm sorry, make this ingenuity.
Right, okay. You're going to do this, you're going to get us in, and you're going to get us back out, and we're going to figure it out together, all right? Did you say ingenuity transport?
It's gonna be ingenuity transport
13.
because you are I mean, I guess it could technically be technology. I think I'm going to do transport, though. You are basically trying to navigate going down the blowhole of this whale in the TARDIS. You're doing manual flight.
So this would definitely be a +2 to pilot the TARDIS.
Oh, actually, it says manual flight controls are actually Ingenuity plus tech.
Great.
No.
Okay.
So you're doing okay there.
Yeah.
And you do get your gadget trait. Or you do get your,
Tech Adept or
yeah,
Vortex
you do
or
get
both?
tech, what's that?
Tech Adept, Vortex, or both?
You don't get Vortex.
Oh,
It's
right.
just Tech Adept.
Okay.
But yeah.
13, 14, 15. Oh!
Uh-oh.
Double Dalek. So that's a 17.
This is a hole the size of Texas, you said.
Yes, the hole is large.
Have I... How bad a failure is that? I can only bump it up 1 success level
I'll give
per
you a story point if you take it as a failure.
Yeah, I need those story points.
You get a story point.
If you take a fail, you get a story point.
So
right.
as you give your
Fail whale.
rousing
Yeah.
speech, and we're
Oh.
gonna get back out of this, and you start, the TARDIS goes into the hole, and immediately
bringing it
you
today.
encounter an intense gravitational force.
Oh no.
And the TARDIS just rumbles suddenly. The spinning sensation of the TARDIS, you guys begin to realize that as the TARDIS rumbles back and forth, you begin to realize you're actually spinning out of control. The TARDIS has been basically sucked into what feels like a gravity well inside of this creature.
Right, that's not exactly what I wanted to happen. Hold on to something.
River is like, bloody hell! She's like grabbing a hold of like the railing as the TARDIS lurches left and right. This would be one of those great camera moments where like, you guys are kind of flying all over the place. Yes, shimmy, shake, everybody. Let's get somebody over here to just move the cameras. So don't, because Ryan Green will do it. Yeah. At this point, I'm gonna need you all to make a coordination athletics check.
It's okay, they're really good at that.
12.
Yeah. lucky
12.
them.
12.
16.
Oh my. 16. Let's see what River. See how River did.
I'm not gonna feel bad if she breaks something.
Yeah, River's neck shatters. You're like, oh well.
Well, neck. I'm
Okay.
more like nose.
In my timeline, I only got to meet her once.
You
Want her to
didn't-
die?
You didn't really seem phased to know that she was your wife, though.
Oh man.
No, I know that. Don't I? I know that.
I
I
don't
don't
think
think you know it.
Silence in the library?
This is
11
not good.
knows it.
10 doesn't.
I don't think 10 ever specified.
I feel like she
You-
establishes that in the.
What's that?
We're having
Sorry.
canon
I thought
timeline.
she- I thought
River's
she did as
timeline is
well.
confusing.
Don't we find out that I'm married to River in Silence in the library?
I don't know that that's actually discovered in Science of the Library, but your connection to River is
She does whisper something, though, I think, so.
yeah.
We,
Anyway,
we will never know.
Now I know.
Yeah, so
Yes.
good enough.
But remember, this is the Eric's TBD RPG
Yes.
Doctor Who universe, so fuck all with canon. It just does whatever it wants at this point. I need you to take. You can decide where it goes, but you take 2 points of damage, Doctor.
Oh,
Yep.
what are my options?
Coordination, strength, or resolve.
For coordination, strength.
It's
or
your
resolve?
arm. Your arm gets smashed into the side console as you barely try to steady yourself.
I couldn't use quick reflexes to try to grab
No,
her.
that's a combat thing.
And soaking half this damage would only save me 1 point, so I'm not sure that's the best use of a story point. I'll do 1 coordination, 1 resolve.
Oh,
Oof.
man.
Doctor's taking some damage. What are you at now?
I have 3 coordination left. I have 3 out of my 5 resolve left, and I have 1 out of my 3 strength left.
Don't lose that strength. You're battered up pretty good. You've been
It's been a rough day.
yeah. The TARDIS is really like you've getting smacked around by the metal. So
In the Doctor's life, yeah, that's about all it qualifies
We're
as.
in a whale.
it takes you guys. So to cut this a little bit shorter, it's a good 20 minutes flying at top speeds with the TARDIS through this gravity well, and it gets to the point where you just completely lose control of the TARDIS. Y'all are bounced around the inside of the TARDIS, smacked into the walls, until eventually the TARDIS begins to stabilize a little bit. Doctor, it takes you for a few seconds as you feel this stabbing pain in your arm. You
all right?
you may have fractured yourself a little bit when you slammed into the control console. Finally, the TARDIS seems to stabilize. It goes, and then you see the console controls, like the static finally goes bleep and comes up and gives you a triangulation of where you are.
I can try medicine, but I have almost no medicine.
River, let's see
Probably
what
has
River's
more.
got. Whip out River's stats real
She
quick.
can kiss it and
She
make it
might.
better.
Da, 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 da. Oh, Madame Vastra. I love Madame Vastra.
Oh, I love her so much.
Yeah.
I don't
Vastra
know
and
why I
Jenny
would feel
Flint.
like I related to a reptilian gallivanting around with a human lady, but you know.
I need that book.
I've got some medicine, but I'm a bit
50th
distracted.
anniversary special book. All right, let's see what we got. Do. What a weird game this has been, even for Doctor Who. What a
We're
weird
in
game.
a whale.
Here we go. Medicine 2.
Well,
All right,
better
River.
than
Actually
mine.
got better medicine.
Yeah, River does all right. Ooh, she is a smart cookie too. All right, so let's see. Okay. Haha. In her equipment, it says Blue Diary, and in parentheses, it says spoilers. Okay. As you stabilize, River runs over to you, and that attitude kind of bleeds away for a second as she looks very nervous, and she comes over and says, "Here, let me see it."
Oh, it's a bit banged up.
And she immediately goes to work, kind of relieving the pain. She takes a little, you see, it looks like she takes out from her coat, she kind of removes what looks like, it's not a syringe, but the best way to describe it is it looks like one of those hypo sprays. And she just kind of starts going to work on you. She immediately begins to relieve the pain. She's going to spend a story point.
Oh, thank you.
And I will let you have back 2 points. Oops, did I mess up my mic? I did. I messed up my mic. Denise showed me how to do this. No, I got it. I don't have this. Stop laughing at me. Stop laughing at me. Sorry, guys. Don't just pretend like this is all part of the show. How's that? Does that work?
Yes.
Did I do it? No? I feel like an idiot, but do I look? Does it sound okay?
It's sort of pointing down a bit.
It's okay. Right now, the audience is like, Jesus Christ, can we get Matthew
Do we
Mercer on
actually?
the show, please?
I don't know if
Yeah.
we're doing a bio break today.
Yeah.
Yes. Actually, we actually have hit the moment where we're going to take a quick break. Because it's 1:59, we usually do it at 1:45. So, guys, stay tuned. We're going to just take a quick 5 minutes, and then we will be right back to find out what the hell's going on inside this giant space whale. So stay tuned. Okay, we'll be right back. Space whale.
Hey.
Welcome back. We're just gonna do this right off the top. Jody and I are gonna split one of these bad boys.
Oh, I forgot. We had
There we
You
go.
want some?
Do you
It's
want?
a bit too late now. Isn't it?
Well,
Not really. You could siphon some off of Jody. It's
Can I have a
never
sip?
too late.
Or
Yeah,
did I-
sip some Guinness.
Out of a separate
Did you
cup,
want one?
because I
Did you want one?
sick for like
It
3
can be
weeks.
too
yeah,
early.
you
but
can
never too
just
late.
get it. Drink
Maybe
out
you
of
want
the
some
bottle
Guinness.
Like a normal human also.
Too late. It's like 2
Or
p.m.
normal Time Lord.
It's not.
It's always 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, for our European viewers, this is totally timely.
Ah,
Might as well drink with the Corsair.
Yes, we do that quite a bit.
oh yeah.
Oh, oops, I have a.
Thank you.
Wow, you're prepared. Well done, Jody. Gain a story point.
Resourceful coffee.
Wait, if I'm already maxed as story
it, do it.
points, can I have an
Take it.
extra?
Let's put that there.
Ah.
All right.
Don't argue.
Yeah,
Take the point.
we get to bank them.
You can level up.
You just lose them at the end
Nothing
of
like
a
good
long
old
rest at the end of an arc.
Tabletop
That's
RPG
fun.
Doctor Who with awesome community, good friends, and a pint. Although I'm not really drinking a pint right now, but yeah, cheers.
Yeah.
A portion
and
of
a
a
half.
pint.
All right. So,
Alright.
do you guys want this book over there? Do you want me to keep it over here? Does it matter?
I
No
like
one's really used
having
it yet.
but
No,
haven't
I
used
just
it
have
in
the
a while.
digital copy on my phone, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
use that all the time.
Sam.
That's why I'm on my phone all the time, you guys.
Sam,
I'm not
you are the
just sending
Hermione
text.
Granger of this group. I'm gonna put this over here. Right there. Okay.
Which we mean we'd be dead without you, thing.
Yeah, basically yes. All
Well,
right.
That's
And
true,
you'll
Doctor.
get-
We will
and-
also be dead very soon.
There is that.
I will be dead the soonest, though. I will starve.
No, don't starve.
I'm gonna eat a jelly baby.
Great game.
All right. Well, let's jump
You
back
have
into
died
it.
of dysentery.
Also a great game.
Which game?
Trail.
Oregon
But
Trail.
also
Don't Starve and Oregon Trail, respectively.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Let us jump back into the journey inside the space whale.
Yes.
We're all inside the space whale now.
Yeah. So when we last left off, River had just restored, I think, 2
Journey
points.
through inner space
Oh,
whale.
2 points. Yes, right.
Okay, you might want to put those both in strength. 'cause
Normally
I,
I
think that's
would
the thing that
put
kills
my
you.
resolve back, but I think being at 1 strength is probably no good.
Yeah, if you
so-
hit 0 strength, you're basically incapacitated.
So we'll just take that back up to 3, and now I've got 3 in each of those traits. 2 of them are still damaged, but strength is back
If
up
you
to
hit
1.
0 in anything, you're down. If you hit 0 in anything, you go down. If you hit 0 in 3 different things, that's when things get bad.
Like dead bad.
And like dead bad.
All right, well, I'm back up to 3 strength.
How
then.
bad is it? Is
Like
it
it's time
dead
to start
bad?
spending story points to like
Or
alter
mostly
and blah blah.
dead
blah.
bad.
Partially
Turns out your
dead
friend is
bad.
only mostly
Dead inside bad?
Okay. So as you reach the, you guys have stabilized. The TARDIS is quiet for a minute longer until it finally touches down.
Right.
We in a lung now?
I'm fascinating system. No idea how it works.
River walks over and she pulls the monitor over and looks at. She says, "Well, the TARDIS doesn't seem to know exactly where we are."
Fantastic. Well, let's try looking for them again now that we're in here. See if it clears up the signal at all.
So now you're going to be able to use the scanners on the TARDIS. So go
Yay.
ahead and make your ingenuity tech roll. And see if the old girl can spot your friends.
What kind of scanning bonus do I get for that? Or does it just change the difficulty?
I'm just having it alter the difficulty. It's also going to make it more feasible to use it for an extraordinary distance kind of thing.
Yeah.
So the TARDIS could scan planets,
13,
whereas your Sonic is a little more immediate.
14, 15 as a base, and 20.
20. No, but you are detecting that one of the reasons why you're having difficulty scanning is River seems to have been right about her rumors about this creature.
Hate it when she's right. She never lets you forget it.
It looks like the gravitational forces on the inside of this whale are coming from almost all directions. In other words, from what you can read, this whale you could walk from the bottom all the way across the top and back around. It's almost like there's a center of gravity that makes it possible for you to think of it like
world.
yeah. As a result of this, it is very difficult to scan in here. It looks like it's warping a little bit of your of the signal that's going out to actually try to scan the area. It's making it extremely difficult to pick up. You are detecting life forms inside.
How many
Impossible to tell right now.
life forms? Any way to tell if they're just sort of like immune system life forms, or?
You don't know, but that's the other thing that's kind of throwing off to scan is because you were inside a massive life form. And it's almost overloading, like it's difficult to pinpoint, but you are detecting that there are other life forms inside, but it's impossible. You're seeing the signatures come up in the little Gallifreyan script, but you're not actually being able to pinpoint exactly what they are, where they are, or how many there are. But they are separate beings from the whale that you are inside. This thing is running havoc with the TARDIS's ability to actually pinpoint and scan.
Well, on the plus side, if it's hard for them or us to find them, it'll be harder for the TGs to find us.
Suppose that's true.
I imagine it might be a bit hazardous if they tried to materialize inside this thing.
Well, we saw firsthand how dicey those temporal vortex manipulators can be.
Right, we're in here. It's enormous. We've no idea where they are.
I guess the only thing we can do is just open the doors and start looking.
We've tried the walking around method. It's a bit impractical.
Yes, but we were outside before, so we haven't tried it inside yet.
That's true. Where have we landed exactly?
You open the door. And as you open the door, you see a sign. The door swings open, you kind of flinch, and there is this big sign made out of what looks like old rotted wood, but expertly carved and painted. Leaning off to the side of a rock face, it says, "Welcome to Cosm."
On Earth?
And beyond, you see a city built out of what looks like the scraps and pieces of spaceships that have probably crashed inside this whale. Towers, huge metal towers that are leaning slightly, but somehow not falling over. All these wires are sort of supporting things. It looks like a big metal hodgepodge city that's been built over hundreds of years.
Oh, but this is marvelous.
It's quite large. As I said, a city, so there's probably thousands of people that live here. And you see it does have power. There are lights shining all over the place, like a big sort of Fallout-styled sort of like community that has built up. Population, probably at least 2,000 people, at least.
That's unexpected.
Yeah, on the rock face that y'all are on, you're kind of overlooking it a little bit. And you see plenty of traffic and hearing plenty of sounds and noises.
My God, there's a world in here. This is fantastic.
Let's go talk to some of the locals and see if anyone new has popped by.
All right. Shall we?
River says, "Why not?" It kind of has
Welcome
this.
to Cosm. Well, it's on a whale.
As you two begin to go,
Yeah.
we cut to Cillian and Roko on the back of one of these speeder bikes. A very large alien creature with tentacles for arms. Looks sort of like cephalopod in nature. Not sinister looking. It doesn't look like a mind flayer. It looks more like it does look like a human-esque with a tentacled mouth sort of coming off to the side, but it has sort of like a human-looking jaw underneath. But it does have a bulbous head and those big eyes off to the side. And it's just clucking and squeaking at you, trying to make conversation as it's steering using these tentacles. This speeder bike that you're on the back of looks like it doubles up as sort of like a salvage like speeder. So it doesn't actually touch the ground, but it's got a big it's got ports off onto the side that y'all are using as chairs right now, but it probably uses to like put scavenged materials in from ships that have crashed here.
I have so many questions.
Yeah, it's sort of like it's Ray basically,
I was
speeder
gonna
bike,
say that.
but not lengthwise, more like widthwise. Y'all are blasting again, Cillian. You're having one of those moments that you've had many times since you've started your adventures, where you kind of stop and realize, I am on the back of a speeder bike racing through the stomach of a giant celestial space whale in an attempt to save the universe right now. like it just, again, the electrician from Essex has to pause and be like, what the fuck? Like it just occurs to you.
With this geezer from Futurama piloting the thing.
Yeah,
like-
exactly. We're going to Cosm, right? Okay. So, As y'all are racing towards Cosm, I need y'all to make an awareness.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be an awareness resolve check.
Huh, okay.
12.
15.
15. All right. Cillian, you're just kind of admiring where you're at. Roko,
Yeah.
the thing is, you've been having a little trouble concentrating recently because your body is beginning to suddenly start. What?
I'm sorry, I would like to actually subtract -2 from that roll.
You're going to elect us -2?
Yes, because I take last of my kind, and I do still have kind, but I don't have Finn. And I think that should still count.
Then I'm going to give you a story point and take a -2 to
Yeah.
that roll. What's
That puts me down to 13, but I remembered that
13?
non-combat rolls, I want to take a -2
what was your
till
roll
I find
again,
her.
Duncan?
Hmm?
What was your roll again?
12.
Okay. Wait. And your original roll was 15, right? Okay. Never mind. You don't see it.
Yeah, no, I don't.
You got your story point though. So in that case,
That's what I need to do.
okay. You guys crest the hill and just you see the city of Cosm in front of you.
On the way past, and this may have been the check that I flubbed, I assume a hover bike would go faster than anybody on foot.
Yes.
I haven't seen Velik or Meatstick or Finn
You haven't seen
walking to
anybody
Cosm.
now.
No one.
No.
In fact,
Nobody
in-
on the road.
No, in fact, from the the bottom jaw to this point where you guys are approaching Cosm, it's been completely. It's like driving on a. It's you know when you get far enough outside of a city where there are no city lights to sort of pollute the skyline, and it's completely black, and you only have the lights of your car kind of thing. It's that sort of like lonely desert road sort of feel. As y'all are racing through these rock faces. This place is clearly, the road that y'all are racing down right now clearly has been man-made, essentially,
Yeah.
for lack of a better way of saying it. It is artificial. It has been chiseled out of the rock face and turned into a very smooth road. And it doesn't take long on the speeder bike to actually start reaching the outer areas of Cosm. And as y'all are getting closer, you see what I described to them is this city looks like it is built off of scrap. Looks like you're seeing technologies, Roko, that vary across species, races, and time. You're seeing all of these different. It looks like a bunch of shipwrecks have been made into a city, essentially. And it takes you,
Cool.
yeah, Cillian, it takes you a while, but you've seen enough stuff at this point that you're starting to realize that these buildings are not made to be buildings. It looks like they were fashioned into buildings. And when you get closer, you notice the skyline. One of the largest constructions, one of the largest buildings here, actually looks like the nose of a cargo ship that's literally just been pulled up and pointed straight up, and is being lashed down with multiple like wires and whatnot. All of these huge constructs that have wrapped around and have pulled tight, also serving as I would say habitat rings, kind of leading up into the building. So it's very clever and very ingenious the way it's been built, and it all looks surprisingly safe. Doesn't look like it's hammered together and hodgepodged, but it actually looks like probably hundreds of years spent making this into an actual city that lives and breathes.
Badass.
Yeah.
So curious about the breathing part. The gas exchange of the system must be fascinating.
I mean, there must be what you're starting to realize is the whole world that must live inside of this whale. There's probably more than one city. There might be countries, there might be factions, there might be clans or kings, there might be an entirely new currency, there might be, who the hell
naturally,
knows?
there
You
has
guys
to
could be
be.
driving into like a pirate's den for all you know. Like this is totally like the world
Pirates
that must
don't
exist inside here operates on a completely different set of rules than what must go on outside.
Only the universe weren't in existential peril, I could study this. Oh, the publications I could
Only
get.
the universe wasn't dying right now. Think of all of because the largest living creature you've ever heard of
Universe.
clearly housed its own micro-universe on the inside. One might
And
say a
not that
microcosm.
micro.
I have to keep field notes on this. Oh, but yes.
Microcosm.
Starting to catch on, aren't you? Yes. So let's see. Why don't we make this? Actually, I think the TARDIS might come into play here. Give me 1 second.
Ooh.
Okay. Let's roll. So, give me 1 sec. Sorry, guys. Gotta check something. Gotta check. Real quick, what Doctor Who character irritated you the most? Was it River? Do you have one Doctor Who character that drove you insane?
Honestly, no, but the Daleks have been overdone to the point where I no longer am interested in them. So when they show up, I'm like, Daleks
Actually,
again?
less interested in the Cybermen at this point than the Daleks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Daleks kind of annoy me because of that. Because, like, do something else, you know?
Okay.
I love all
There
of them.
was
I don't know.
one that really annoyed me, but I can't remember them for some reason. I just...
All right. You, as you crest the hill, actually, this would be a good time for you guys to roll. This would be an awareness. I'm going to say this is going to be an awareness resolve roll as well.
All right. I will continue
And I'm going to give you guys, this is a very small bonus, but I'm going to give you guys a +1 to this.
All right, then I am rolling at a -1.
-1.
11.
8 plus 11 is 19.
19?
Yeah.
Even with your penalty?
Yes.
That's amazing. Okay.
I'm good at awareness and resolve.
So you
I'm
guys are
bad
cresting
at
up the hill. As you crest this top hill, as you're coming to the entrance point of Cosm, you see a familiar glow atop a very familiar blue box, just on the outskirts of the city. It's off in the distance as you're driving past it, but you spot it.
The TARDIS! I think I see the TARDIS!
Doctor! Doctor, can you hear us?
You guys are the ambient noise of the whale. You guys flying past. As you call out, you immediately feel your voice being swallowed by the sound.
Tap, tap, tap
As
on
soon as-
the
yeah.
speeder
The
guy.
creature looks back.
I know I could speak to Bargle Bill.
Bargle
initially.
Bill had a very specific translator. on
Before
his
the
name.
translator.
Before the translator, you could
I
talk
could
to
speak
him.
to him. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
You could. That's right.
We pulled
well
them
done,
out of the
doing
wall
your research.
and
Yes.
found they could speak to most.
Yeah.
Can I understand this guy?
Yeah. He's basically like, you're not. You don't understand word for word what he's saying, but the gist you're getting is he's giving you a tour. And over here, you'll see that's the rock face. That he's like taking you through like where this asteroid came from and how it collected and coalesced through the gravitational forces forming this rock ridge that we now call. And you kind of like, and as you tap on his shoulder, he's like, "Did you get that one?" Is kind of what he's saying to you when you
Oh,
look
yes,
back.
I would love to have a copy of all of your historical notes, but if we could actually go right over there for just the slightest moment, that would be delightful. Thank you, and see how much of that I actually effectively convey.
So, Doctor, go ahead and actually, you guys are going to see it coming. It takes a few minutes. Y'all are stepping out. You're examining the sound, the city sign, but you all hear this familiar. Underneath the low rumble of the whale, you hear this sort of noise. River goes, "Friends of yours?" And she immediately unbuttons her gun from her holster
Oh, hold on.
and pulls out that heavy revolver
And
of
I'm
hers.
gonna pull out my gun to. If she's gonna shoot our friends, I'm gonna shoot her first.
Wait, well, we don't know what. We just heard a sound. Of,
Yeah, River, Corsair,
Immediately with
River is going off the
guns.
instinct that TGs have gotten here.
Always with
So
the
she
blasting.
pulls a gun and she cocks back the
I'm like,
the
it
hammer.
could be 50-50, so good to have it out
Yeah,
anyway.
which is why she's not aiming. She's holding up the gun, but you see, it looks like off in the distance what looks like a transport of some kind is just arced and is heading straight towards you.
well, hold on a moment. What's that? Might be
It,
the people who live here.
it looks like they're getting closer and moving much faster. They've gone a little bit off terrain, and they're headed straight for you. So whoever it is has spotted you and is coming straight for you.
Right, hello.
I hate it when she does this.
Hello, do you live here?
I guess.
As you guys are you see one figure is waving their arms as you're getting closer. It takes you a second, but you do manage to see a cephalopod-like creature piloting looks like a speeder bike of some kind with two passengers on the back. as the thing gets closer, River starts to slowly lower her gun and kind of give a look. And
I
as
put mine away.
as the thing comes to a stop, just you see Roko and you see Cillian.
Go, 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 go! Oh, it's such a relief to find you.
Giant hugs.
Oh, such hugs. I mean, the
Such
strongest
hugs would
hugs
be-
that I
Wow.
can give you. I'm really not feeling my
this
best
is
at the moment.
Wonderful. But where's Finn? Where's Venog? Where's Steve? Where's Meatstick?
We were going to ask you.
Oh no.
We haven't found anyone besides you yet.
Zeke
Can't
says
find her.
they wanted
Oh
to
yeah,
crash.
Zeeps is here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No. I've
You're
been
like, oh hi
very aware.
Zeeps.
Yeah.
Zeeps goes,
good.
yeah, hi.
Big pat on the back.
Says, yeah, they weren't in the crash site when we woke up. We think they might have been thrown from the crash. We don't know. But there was no sign of them, and we couldn't scan for them either.
Oh no.
So when
You're alive. You got eaten. You crashed. There's a city in here. Quite a lot is going on. I'm so sorry. I
Doctor,
would
what-
never have left you.
What happened? Why? What was that thing that came and took you away? You were gone.
And I just point to River. Her fault.
River goes, hi.
This is River Song.
hello, River.
She's a friend who's just made a terrible mistake.
Friend.
Still not convinced it was a mistake. No offense.
So, but why?
Offense!
Why did? But what did she do exactly?
She thought she was rescuing me.
I
River
was
Song,
rescuing you, darling.
This is Cillian
Hello,
from my
Cillian.
reality, one of the most important people in the universe right now. Thank you. And this
Oh.
is Roko Kokoko.
Hello, Roko. Does it always look that angry?
No, usually not, actually.
Oh,
Only when someone
I
deserves
tend to bring
it.
out the best in people, she says with a charming smile.
So why did you do that?
Well, because this universe is falling apart, and the Doctor, up to this moment, was the only thing in existence that had a chance of stopping it and was about to die. Again. So I ran interference. Turns out everything's alright, so we're fine.
Right.
Well,
River also wants to
Things
serve
will
the
be all-
resistance and has been talking to Lisa, who, by the way, has another name.
The Corsair, nice to meet you again.
We can trust her,
Probably.
thank God.
is it okay if I forget and call you Lisa sometimes?
Humans do a very small brain, so understandable.
I definitely have one of those. Yeah.
You're like, yes, thank God for that.
Yes, and hello, are you one of the locals?
The cephalopod says, tour guide, actually. And
Oh,
you
I
can
know that.
all
Yeah,
understand
TARDIS
him
translation
suddenly.
matrix now.
Says, yes, I'm local.
Oh, delightful. We've just arrived. Have you met any other newcomers?
Besides
Newcomers?
that,
No, you're all my first newcomers. We have a greeting sort of policy here. See, Cosm gets a lot of new people coming in from the outside, so sometimes some of us go out and meet them and bring them in and sort of help them adapt. Keeps people from fighting. Used to happen all the time.
I love it. I love it.
What's your name?
Crib.
Hello, Crib.
Crib.
nice to meet you,
Crib.
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 Yeah, what's your names?
Crib, I'm the doctor.
I'm the Corsair.
I'm Cillian.
And we've met a bit.
Yes.
I'm Roko Kokoko.
No.
Really, if you have any written tour guides, I would love to include this. I think there's really a monograph in
It's
here.
a really amazing place, isn't it? Look at this city.
Isn't it fascinating?
And
Wonderful
thanks
how
for
you've
the
all
lift,
adapted.
mate.
Very
Ah.
much so.
Oh yeah, no problem. Did you still need a ride into town? I wouldn't be able to take all of you though.
I'm not really sure. I think we got some things to talk over and some.
Sure. Well, you know what? There's only one visitor center when you enter the main entryway for the city. So if you want to answer any more questions, just come visit me.
Thank you so
so
much.
Well, thanks, Crib.
I'm gonna go get in the bath. And he turns and
Is there
you all
is there
right,
any
Roko?
water in the TARDIS?
Everything is fine. And I just wrap my arms around you.
Oh.
And I collapse. And although Holly can't cry, but I'm weeping.
We'll find her. This will be all right.
this one has mood swings. It would seem. River says rather callously.
I punch River in the face.
Are you gonna try to punch River?
I'm gonna try to punch her in the face
Oh.
because I've had it.
And then I have a question.
Okay, make your attack. So that's gonna be right now. Half of chat is going yes, thank you. So that's gonna be a strength fighting roll.
story point. Just
Yeah, I'm gonna spend a story point.
You're gonna spend a story
I
point.
got 15. I'm gonna add a story point to that.
Okay. Then
It's going to be a really
you're gonna
hard
roll.
punch.
You're gonna roll 2 dice. Then you're gonna add extra 2. I mean,
Okay.
are you adding it just because the thing is it's a contested roll against the difficulty of
against
what?
her.
So
yeah.
technically, this would be one where you would have to spend it.
23.
23. Okay. You clock River Song across the face.
Oh my goodness!
With a 23, you really clock her across the side of the face. She drops to the ground with a little bit of blood coming out the side of her mouth, which she immediately brings up and gives you a look.
We'll have none of that.
No, we'll have lots of that. I was going to defend you, but don't mess with Roka Coca.
Didn't she toss you out of the TARDIS? Did you make it to the TARDIS before she took off?
It's starting to occur to you that this is the being probably who jumped you before you got to the TARDIS and knocked you unconscious.
You know, whether it was or wasn't, I understand from an outside perspective. She don't know who I am. She don't know who this is. She only cares about you. But there's a limit, you know? There's a limit.
He's got a point.
River smiles and she says, "This isn't the first time I've had people spit in my face after saving the universe."
It's called punching, not spitting.
You don't need to be so smug about it, and you should treat our friends with some bloody respect.
Oh, thank you. I'll log that in my journal, darling. That's very inspiring.
River.
Yeah.
She starts to pick herself up, and she spits a little blood out and wipes it off of her mouth.
Contempt is not your best look, love.
Comes with the territory, I suppose. Running the resistance against the Time Lords, and getting the appreciation I've gotten for, saving your life.
Oh, God, give it
Actually,
a
they're
rest.
the ones. They are the ones that saved my life. So
And you didn't do anything for us, so don't expect any gratitude.
Well, I'm not looking for your gratitude.
Point of interest. In the Resistance, for the long time, I've been fighting in it.
Mm-hmm.
What, if anything, do I know about this person who claims to be leading it?
If she's River Song, then she is the leader of the resistance.
Oh,
She's been staging the resistance. It's very likely she was the reason why you and Finn were rescued. What you know about River is that it's been her initiative that has caused there to be a rebellion on Gallifrey, and her insistence that she could find and bring back the Doctor.
11 years. 11 years I have fought and talked and snuck around and stolen. And I've done it all in your name. I've done it in the name of the Resistance. As has my captain, the one you so callously left to die, and clearly you have not given bugger all for us the entire time. Have you?
Oh my God! You see River? She kind of looks up and says,
No, I just turn right away and I go back to talking to the doctor.
Okay.
I don't want to hear a bloody thing that
there's
creature
a heart
has
in there,
to
and
say.
if it didn't hear a word if there's a heart in there, and if it didn't hear a word they just said, you're not my River.
I just go back to hugging the doctor.
"He's a bit
And
late."
You're not looking well. Can my Sonic mimic the effect of sunlight?
No.
do you have?
Can the TARDIS mimic the
Yeah, are
effect
there
of sunlight?
sun lamps in the TARDIS?
I'm just
There are things in the TARDIS that you could use that would probably nourish, but you definitely have water in the TARDIS. That's
Yeah,
easy
yeah.
to come by.
yeah, that's
I want to go see the city, but I think we might need to get you patched up a bit. How are you doing?
it's been a long time
And
since
there's a
I've seen the
swimming
sun.
pool in there. Yeah, there's water in there. Sorry.
So you guys want to
really
gather your
could-
strength in the TARDIS before you
use-
proceed to Cosm?
I
think
we
so.
better.
Yeah.
I don't think I can go very much longer. It's been
Yeah, you're not doing so hot.
yeah.
It hasn't been. It has been a lot of fun
It's
for
probably
you.
been a couple days at this
Yeah.
point, given the whole Astro adventure. It's been.
Yeah.
I maybe should have rolled medicine to see how clear that was, but you seem
Well,
pretty
I
clearly
was
on
also
the-
talking to you though,
Yeah,
so yeah.
Okay.
I need that. I don't think I can go very much farther, and
maybe if I'm a little stronger, then I might be better able to look for. And I just start crying again.
Okay.
We will find her. Let's take a moment.
I glare at River and I go back in the TARDIS.
Support you on
River,
as we walk.
the coldness in her eyes. It's that there was that sort of bemused smugness that was there before, but at this point, she looks right through you when you look at her.
What's happened to you?
What's happened to me? Corsair, what did they do to you when they captured you?
Want you listening?
I was watching. Tell them.
We know.
Then you know who we're fighting against.
The strength of our enemies has never met the loss of our own hearts.
That's delightful, darling. The Time Lords, they are monsters. What they have done to people by the thousands, by the millions, cannot be said out loud. If your friend was fighting in my name, then they were doing the wrong fighting. This is for the sake of the universe, and I would sacrifice every single one of you if it meant that saving the Doctor could save the universe. And if you can't understand that because your feelings are hurt, that's not my problem.
My entire bloody planet wiped away from reality. And
One
she has
planet.
the nerve.
Hundreds
I was
of
not
planets.
talking to you.
I don't care. She leans
Oh, what a
back.
coincidence. I don't give a fig for you either.
So, you want to know what happened to me? No. I stopped becoming a child and faced the grim reality that the Time Lords are now creatures that are unspeakably evil and that do not fight fair or with compassion. And your friend here, Corsair, can speak to it firsthand because she has experienced it again and again and again.
And yet I haven't turned out quite like you, have I?
Well, not all of us can be Time Lords, darling. And for that, I'm grateful.
If you want to
Some of us only live once, as many of these planets can attest to.
When you lose your compassion for other people, you become as bad as they are.
That's why we need the Doctor. And that's why you need me.
We do.
Do we?
I'm sorry, River. If there's a way we can get you back, I will try, but
Again, this has nothing to do with me. This is about saving reality.
I haven't lost sight of that. I'm just capable of caring about more than one thing.
Then do it, but don't worry about me.
Not
Should
going
be
to happen.
easy enough.
Good.
Not going to happen.
What's your friend's name? The other resistance fighter?
Finn.
Finn.
She's from Earth. She's brave and she's strong and she's clever.
Then
Very
she'll be
cool
all right.
robot arm.
I think I remember that, actually. I think we gave that to her.
The kind of person you would have liked. Where I came from.
River says, she kind of, you see, she kind of looks away for a moment. She says, I'm sorry you disapprove of me so much, but something tells me in the coming days you're going to understand one way or the other why. I only hope that it doesn't break your hearts as severely as it's broken others. I'm not saying don't keep your compassion, but don't hold it against me because I chose the universe over your feelings.
River, can't you just apologize?
I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
Lovely. Let's get you inside.
Yes. Yeah, seems rather foul right here.
She holds the door open.
Oh, not the door. I do look at Lisa and Doctor, I have never struck another creature. I
Well,
have
it's time
never
to stop.
shot a gun. I've never acted violently toward any other living thing. You know, when you, and I'm sure you know, you're psychic too, when you understand someone that way,
You can't hate them. It's... Finn doesn't get it, the others don't get it. How hard it is to be violent. How impossible it would ever be to be violent against someone that you understand like yourself, and all of a sudden, the whole world, you realize that they're all like that, even when I was in Davros's mind. There's, for want of a better word, there's humanity in all of them, but
Your empathy is a treasure. It is not cancelled out by your anger. It's all right. You are still the person who would rather not.
and I never will, not even with that. But damn do I want to!
I can
So now
show
you
you how
understand-
if you would like some instruction.
Rocco, now you understand something new. All right, think of it that way. You've added a bit to your experience.
I suppose I'll have to take some notes down on it.
She's damaged. And I'm sorry. She thought she was doing the right thing. I disagree profoundly, and I hope we can get her back.
You know, the other thing that you learn when you're in people's minds all the time, they all think they're doing the right thing, even when they're committing the greatest atrocities.
Got a point there. Water.
Yeah, it is very comforting to be back inside the TARDIS. Even though your present circumstance is kind of bizarre, being inside the TARDIS does kind of give the illusion of stability. In here, there's no giant whale. It's the room that you guys have come to know so well, where you've been hopping the universe from time to time again. So it is kind of nice to be back inside. I'm going to go ahead and reward everybody a story point. As everyone just kind of comes back together. Not to mention the role playing was good. I also am awarding a story point in remembrance of Sam's pencil. We shall miss you, pencil.
You didn't see the other one before.
Yeah.
This is not the first pencil that has died to River Song this episode.
So
Rocco not strong. But
yeah.
So, Doctor, I take it what became of the Time Lords here hasn't happened in your reality?
Oh goodness, no.
Yeah.
It's complicated. I was the last one. I think I might have saved them, but there definitely wasn't any crazy, tyrannical. I mean, it happens on occasion. Someone takes over and turns them into something they shouldn't be, but never like this.
What do you mean the last one? What happened?
How did the Time War end? Just point of curiosity.
Gallifrey won.
Did we?
Yes, but I can't remember exactly how.
Right, River, you wouldn't happen to know how I died, would you?
How you died? Yes, I do remember.
What?
I was there.
What?
I held you in my arms as you died.
And you didn't think to share this at all.
It's none of your damn business, she says, with like a severe sense of rage just crosses her face immediately.
First of all, thank you.
You see this situation. You see that coldness has gone away, and you see that wounded animal in a corner look in her eyes.
What do you remember?
Your last words, the look on your face, the lack of golden glow as you died and did not regenerate. The last things you ever said to me.
What was that?
That's between me and that doctor.
Right. How did it happen?
Temporal guard. They caught up to us. You sent your TARDIS away. We were trying to use my vortex manipulator to jump away before they arrived.
Do you know about the message I left in the TARDIS?
I was there when you recorded it.
Right. Why can't anyone else remember?
You told me something about the paradox energies, something about the Council of Gallifrey.
The Lord President?
I'm not sure about the Lord President.
You don't know who they are?
Well, whoever the Lord President was sent into exile by the Council of Gallifrey.
What?
That's the last I heard. That's the last that you had told me. From what I understand, the Lord President was the leader of Gallifrey and had led Gallifrey to its victory. And then apparently he went a bit mad.
Much seems clear, but if the council exiled him, why are they still behaving?
Maybe because it wasn't just him.
What turned the tide of the Time War?
From what I understand, the Time Lords, the Council, the President, I don't know, but someone began to harness the power of paradox and was trying to reshape the universe into whatever image they had in mind for it.
I think those paradox energies are a little bit my fault, but I had no idea they'd have this effect. I didn't know it would happen at all.
Well, as you know, paradox is completely uncontrollable, but they managed to find a way to channel it. I don't know much more than that, only that they are playing with that energy itself and have used it to wipe out species that we don't even remember anymore. The databanks in Gallifrey are the only places in the universe that are protected by the shifts in the timeline and which can tell us what exactly has happened.
How are they protected?
The Gallifreyan computers. I mean, you Time Lords have very clever ways of making sure that the timelines are protected in their infinite diversity. So if something did happen and it was changed by paradox, it's entirely possible that the information is still protected in stasis within the mainframes at Gallifrey.
Just the information.
We've tried to get that information.
I assume it has been... Well, difficult is an understatement, isn't it?
The Time Lords retaliated by having the children of the Time Lords brought before public execution and shot dead before everyone. And as they regenerated, they were shot dead again. And again. And again.
All I wanted was to save Gallifrey.
Wherever these rips in space-time have come from, the Time Lords have learned how to harness them.
Well, they must be stopped.
She
I'm
nods
back.
slowly.
The world has a doctor again. We'll see what we can't do about it.
Well, I can tell you what I'm going to do about it. Absolutely everything that I can.
On that, we're agreed.
Are we?
Yes.
Then maybe we're finally starting to understand each other.
Never. Not going anywhere without our friends, anyway. See what we can't find.
Doctor, it is worth bringing up that if your friend Cillian here is from the other reality as you, he will be as sought after as you are.
You may be in some danger. Only we can affect the time rips we've been finding.
Well, I don't plan on separating again at any point if that's what you're worried about. No way. No way. I'm useless out there without you guys. All right?
You're never useless. But we do stay
true.
together.
It's kind of true.
No, Cillian, you kept me alive. You kept my hope alive. I
We
couldn't have
stay
done
together,
anything
we
without
find each other, we don't leave anyone behind, and we fight. All right?
You're the leader, Doctor.
rather a better one.
Look, if you kept me and Finn from being in the TARDIS in the first place, and Roko, do you know where Finn might be?
No, it wasn't an active choice to keep you. I was just trying to get the Doctor.
Did you? I'm sorry, because I kind of missed some of the
Right.
detail. How did I not end up?
You
on
and
there?
Zeeps were headed back to the TARDIS because you'd been instructed to get the hell out of here.
Yeah,
When you were headed back to the TARDIS, you were jumped from behind and knocked unconscious.
and we
by
don't know
River.
by whom.
It was
and
River.
It was by River.
It was by River.
But she
But
didn't.
she was under the impression you guys were part of the
yeah,
poachers. She
but-
didn't know who you
but
were.
Finn, on the other hand,
Finn should have been in the ship with everybody else.
yeah, and Finn's just lost.
Yeah. Finn,
Finn,
she doesn't
Meatstick,
seem to
Veleg,
know.
Yeah.
She doesn't seem to know about
Ava.
Finn or Meatstick,
Ava.
or she doesn't
She
know where
knows
Veleg is
nothing
either.
at all.
Veleg is also missing.
Yeah, well, it's
Veleg
Finn
and the other
we're
two
after.
poachers are also
Well,
missing.
no. but
We
rather
care
than-
about them all, but it's
We
really
care about them all.
it's
I
really
happen
Finn
to
we're
very
after.
strongly care about Finn.
But yeah, Finn's the focal point here. You know.
We're not leaving without any of them.
Mm-hmm.
Even the poacher Ava.
Well, if
Bellic seemed rather to like her.
Very strange.
Bit odd, yeah.
No.
Well, you don't
You'd
have
be
to
surprised
help.
about the kinds of interspecies cooperation one
the
can
good
have.
news is that would work for you, Roko, River says, turning to you, is if my suspicions are correct, we can't leave this whale anyway.
Well, we are going to need some kind of plan for getting out of here.
Maybe a different different than our entrance way. That wasn't a very smooth ride.
No. But first, let's find them.
Yes.
We haven't had any luck scanning, so we were going to try the city.
Have I been under TARDIS heat lamp now?
Yeah,
Well,
we can say over the course of the
Had a bit
conversation
of a
and whatnot that you've.
munchies.
I mean, it's not enough to. You don't feel revitalized, but it's It's like you
I'm
just
not
got
about
done.
to faint anymore.
Yeah, you just got done. You've been
Okay.
dying of thirst, and you basically just got done downing an entire bottle of water. So
That's good.
you're kind of like, oh god. Your
Yeah.
body isn't going like your body is like, thank you. We're just gonna sit here quietly now, try to feel better, but you're not rejuvenated yet.
Okay.
Your body is restoring itself though.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's grab a couple of supplies and make our way.
All right. Yes. Let's do it.
River, as everyone starts packing up, River approaches you, Doctor, and she says, I'm going to stay with the TARDIS.
And do what with it?
I'm not going to leave you here if that's what you're asking. I wouldn't do that. I've risked everything.
If we leave, we do it together.
We do it together.
Right.
But if the temporal guard come back, I just want to make sure that they don't have access.
That's wise. Do be careful.
She nods and she says, you too. And then kind of abruptly turns and moves back towards the rear of the TARDIS where the living quarters are usually located. And you see her pulling her holster of her gun off and sliding it back into and buttoning it in. But she pulls basically her gun off and walks into the living areas.
All right.
There's a lot that's broken in this world. Let's save what we can. Shall we?
Yes.
I suppose
Stepping
so.
Alright.
out of the TARDIS, you again encounter the sign that says Cosm. Population doesn't really. It looks like the population has been changed so much that it looks like it's been pretty much carved off at this point. But again, guessing in the thousands from the looks of it. And you set off towards the city. Down below, this massive junkyard city that's been built off of the scraps of crashed spaceships inside this whale the size of a planet. And that is where we're going to go ahead and leave the game today. Finishing a little early today, but that's a good stopping point
Yeah.
as we're moving on. Oh, what a sad episode. I hate it when family fights. I hate it when the family fights.
I don't mind when family gets punched sometimes.
That was,
indeed.
That was great.
She was asking
That was
for
great,
it at
yeah.
that point.
Yeah. I'm not at liberty to say who, but we're going to have a guest next Friday.
All right.
So stay tuned for that. But yeah.
Then we're going to find you, Gina. We're
Gina,
going to get you. I'm coming
somewhere
for you.
in this space
Look in
whale.
Japan.
Yes. But you've uncovered the fact that the Council of Gallifrey is responsible for harnessing this power of the paradox
Yep.
to their own ends.
Which I guessed, but I hadn't confirmed yet.
Yeah, you'd been
Well,
kind
I
of
also thought it was
suspicious of
just
that.
the president, so knowing that like there's
Apparently, the
more-
president's in exile,
Yeah.
but but it sounds like the president was still complicit.
Yeah.
So
No, they seem to have started this. The council seems to have picked it up.
I mean, that jives with what I learned from Davros about the Lord President. More speculations to come.
yeah, a lot more speculations. But reality has, the other thing is reality is continuing to rewrite itself. Thankfully, you all remember Finn.
Yeah, I'm so.
You all remember Velig. Everyone's remembering everybody. So their disappearance doesn't seem to be related to that, thankfully.
Remember that Sontaran opera a little too well?
Yes.
No, that was magnificent.
Yeah. But good session today, guys. Thank you so much. That was
Thank
that was some
you.
fine
Thank
RP. Some fine RP.
Yes.
So yeah, stay tuned. Join us next Friday. We will be back. We will have a special guest with us as we continue to advance the plot forward. We are actually starting to enter into Act 3 now for the story.
Feel like it.
It's surprising, but we've actually moved at a pretty decent clip. Having an extra game day on the 25-hour live stream actually helped dramatically. So there's 2 more rips, and the plot's sort of opening up a little bit. So we are slowly approaching the 3rd act now. So join us for that next Friday, and stay tuned for Brick Battles, y'all. That's coming up in just a second. So yeah, stay whimsical. That's my tagline. Stay whimsical.